Chapter 188. Brother Lee's words could be true or false. Taking down Brother Lee was also a precautionary measure. But because of Brother Lee's information, it gave him a more powerful suspect. That night, the Intelligence Department's intelligence system began to investigate Duan Ziki. Duan Ziki, parents unknown. It is speculated that he may be an innocent boy or girl who tasted the forbidden fruit. Not long after he was born, he was placed at the door of the orphanage. The hospital didn't even have his birth information. At that time, he was less than 2 kilograms. Later, he survived under the care of the orphanage. Growing up in the orphanage cultivated Duan Ziki's strong autonomy. From the age of 10, Duan Ziki's way of thinking and acting was very mature. Duan Ziki awakened the Takashi Hoshi talent at the age of 9. He could be said to be a genius. But because of limited resources, his progress was not fast. His strength only increased by leaps and bounds when he was in middle school. In high school, he was already a star blazing. Then, he broke through Nebula around October last year. He mastered a set of A-level Takashi Hoshi skills, a B-level Takashi Hoshi skill, and 3 C-level Takashi Hoshi skills. But this is only the public data. We don't know if there are any unknown Takashi Hoshi skills. After the intelligence was summarized, Su Shiryun made a conclusion. Duan Ziki is just an orphan, but he can grow as fast as Jiang Xinyu. Don't you think it's strange? It's not strange. Su Shiryun leaned back in his chair and said, Duan Ziki was born in an orphanage. Before him, many brothers left the orphanage at the age of 18. Some of them joined various industries, while a few mingled in the underworld. It was not difficult for Duan Ziki to get involved in the underground forces of the ancient city. In addition, Duan Ziki's identity as a Takashi Hoshi was very strong. He had dominated the ancient city's underground forces for 5 or 6 years and accumulated a lot of money. A 10-year-old child was already the leader of a mere underground force. If it were any other child at this age, their minds would probably be filled with toys. Furthermore, Duan Ziki has been to the training grounds quite a few times. Although his growth path isn't as legendary as yours, he has a lot in common with your friends. Of course, I was inclined to believe that the reason Duan Ziki was able to rise so smoothly was because of the demons. Now we have 2 choices. First, we arrest Duan Ziki immediately and find out who the demons are. Secondly, keep an eye on them in the dark and quietly close the net. Su Shiryun looked at Wang Lan with a burning gaze. Wang Lan was deep in thought. Although directly arresting them was the most direct way to gain benefits, secretly monitoring them could lead to unforeseen circumstances. However, Wang Lan recalled the scene of the 2 kidnappers who had kidnapped Su Dongdong being killed instantly when they were about to reveal the mastermind behind it. The demons' methods were strange and varied. No one could be sure that Duan Ziki didn't have anything on him. Once they arrested Duan Ziki, they would most likely get a corpse. Keep an eye on them in the dark. I've already picked Duan Ziki. If the demon's goal is to prevent me from participating in the provincial martial arts competition, will they have other methods? I'll observe from the school. You send someone to observe in the dark. I have a feeling that the demons will do something to this provincial martial arts competition. If Duan Ziki is really a pawn of the demons, then this pawn will definitely make a move. All right. In the dark night, in the beautiful lights, in the deep alley, Duan Ziki walked slowly with a gloomy face. Suddenly, the sound of wings flapping could be heard. A bat landed on Duan Ziki's shoulder. Why was Maori taken by the Heavenly Sword Bureau? Have you been exposed? Su Donghai is one of the top students in the school. His matter can't be so quiet. Su Donghai's cooperation with Maori isn't difficult to investigate. It's normal to find out that Maori was involved. But the Heavenly Sword Bureau was the one who took Maori. Su Donghai is a Takashi Hoshi. Isn't it normal for the Heavenly Sword Bureau to get involved? Aren't you underestimating the Heavenly Sword Bureau too much? The Heavenly Sword Bureau's power is not to be underestimated. They might have already found out about you. If that's the case, you wouldn't be here talking to me. I should be a corpse being dissected by a forensic doctor right now. Duan Ziki sneered. All of this was caused by your mistake. Please don't challenge my bottom line. In the infiltration plan, you are definitely not the best. But I'll be the best one sooner or later. If we can't find the evolving potion, the Heavenly Sword Bureau shouldn't be able to find it either. As long as they can't find the evolving potion, the Heavenly Sword Bureau won't pay much attention to this case. In a few days, if the case can't be solved, it will be closed as an unsolved case. If you're still worried, you can manipulate a Takashi Hoshi to expose yourself and take the blame for Su Donghai's murder. Be careful. The school has informed me that the challenge will begin in 3 days. Should I continue to stop Wang Lan? Are you confident? Give me an evolving potion. It shouldn't be a problem. After a year of experimenting, I can already use the evolving potion's power without transforming. Without my permission, don't act on your own. The bat flapped its wings and flew into the sky, disappearing into the night. All of this was very well hidden. Even the spies did not notice. 3 days passed quietly. It was the weekend of the week. Principal Zhang had returned from Jin City. The challenge that had been postponed for 3 days would begin on Monday. After school, the school leaders of the Takashi Hoshi campus were summoned for a meeting. The meeting in Jin City this time was mainly to convey instructions for the National Unified Provincial Martial Arts Competition. This time, the Provincial Martial Arts Competition will be different from the past. In the past, it was a closed competition. Only the observers from the various universities and the representatives of the participating cities could watch the competition in person. But this time, the Provincial Martial Arts Competition will be broadcasted live on television. All the provincial television stations and online platforms will broadcast the Provincial Martial Arts Competition directly. What? This has never happened in the 50 years since the Provincial Martial Art Competition was held. Isn't this nonsense? Don't the higher-ups know the importance of the Provincial Martial Arts Competition? And they're even broadcasting it live? The dean asked in disbelief. Yes, I didn't understand it at the time, but I heard that it was decided after the 5 elders discussed it. Principal Lu Jie raised his hand and suddenly asked, in the past, the Provincial Martial Arts Competition was a closed competition. I always thought it was the usual practice. But from your and the dean's tone, it seems that a closed competition is a necessary measure. Now that information technology is so advanced, shouldn't we keep up with the times? Mr. Liu, you're still young. Why don't you think about it? Who are the participants of the Provincial Martial Arts Competition? The dean looked at Lu Jie and asked in a low voice. They are the best students of their respective cities, right? Let me put it another way. The Southern Yin Emperor participated in the Provincial Martial Arts Competition 25 years ago and won the 8th place in the province. The Eastern Qing Emperor was the champion of the Provincial Martial Arts Competition in Qi Province. The Westerby Emperor was the champion of the Provincial Martial Arts Competition 40 years ago. All the 1,720 title battle pet warriors in the Jade State participated in the Provincial Martial Arts Competition. 80% of them won the top 10 in the Provincial Martial Arts Competition. The seeds of the Provincial Martial Arts Competition today are the future of the Jade State. Now you understand why the Provincial Martial Arts Competition can't be made public, right? Lu Jie understood the reason immediately. Where did the Jade State's Takashi Hoshi come from? All of them came from Jade State's basic education training. Those who could participate in the Provincial Martial Arts Competition were the best and most talented students of their respective cities. They were the future of a Jade State. If the competition was made public, it was equivalent to putting a new era of the Jade State in front of everyone. If there were hostile forces targeting the future of the Jade State, what would the Jade State look like 20 years later? Well, this decision was made after the 5 elders discussed it. It's meaningless to discuss it now. Besides the Provincial Martial Arts Competition being made public, there's another thing. The host city of each province hasn't been decided yet. Isn't it always in Jin City? In the past, the Provincial Martial Arts Competition was held in the provincial capital. But it's strange that this year, it seems that several cities will be chosen at random. There are 13 cities in Jin City: Su City, Tong City, Su City, and Shi City. I'll discuss it with the mayor tomorrow. If Su City is chosen, how should we arrange it? This arrangement, It feels like we're guarding against something. By the way, Principal, has the list of participants from Sioux City been confirmed? Have the lists of the other cities been submitted? Yes, I got the list of names. How's their strength? Will we be able to turn the tables this time? How should I put it? If Maigatsuk Castle participated in the provincial martial arts competition, we might have some hope. But they have no intention of signing up. Although Jiang Sinyu's strength and talent are good, she's still lacking compared to Jin City, Chong City, Tong City, and Tian City. Especially this time, Jin City's first team is Nebula. Tong City has several multi-attribute geniuses. Tai and City has several secret arts families and Takashi Hoshi families. Chong City has even more geniuses. Whether it's the Takashi Hoshi families or the commoners, they're all ahead of Sioux City. Is that so? It seems that I was too optimistic. Other than Jiang Xinyu and Mu Xiaoyan, what about the other good seedlings? Duan Ziki Wang Lan, Zhuang Haotian, Su Xiangwen, Gong Feiyu? Principal, something big happened to Mu Xiaoyan's family. He hasn't come to school for almost 20 days. Duan Ziki was eliminated by Wang Lan in the preliminary round. Zhuang Haotian was eliminated by Jiang Xinyu. Even if the challenge tournament can be revived, I feel that only Jiang Xinyu can take the lead. However, it's impossible to count on Jiang Xinyu alone. It's better to fight for the top 6 as usual. Okay, let's do that then. At the same time, the information of each city's representative team was spread through various channels in the province. Almost all of the city's first team information was exposed. Only 2 or 3 cities had not confirmed their representative teams for some reason. This information naturally fell into Jiang Xinyu's hands. Jiang Xinyu's ability to gather information had always been good. Even if Su Xiangwen and the others had the ability to gather information, they were too lazy to do it. This was because they were already used to Jiang Xinyu sharing information as soon as possible. When Su Xiangwen saw the starting lineups of each city that Jiang Xinyu sent to him, he cursed out loud. This was the starting lineups? Comparing the starting lineups of each city last year, there is a stark difference between the primary school team and the national team. In the past, a team with 3 Nebula players was considered a strong team. If more than half of the Nebula players were Nebula players, they would be the favorites to win the championship. However, this year, Jin City's starting lineups were all Nebula players. Tong City, 9 Nebula, a secret arts family. Chong City, 2 of the 8 kings. Tian City, 2 of the 8 kings. What kind of team was this? Su Xiangwen thought that as a Nebula player, he could at least shine and struggle for a few rounds in the provincial tournament. Looking at this lineup, he was going to lose in 1 round. Chapter 189. Gong Feiyu sighed softly when he received the information. He put it down and poured himself a cup of coffee to calm himself down. He took a sip and suddenly smiled. Wang Lan looked through the information carefully, picked up a pen, and circled a dozen names. Ordinary Nebula did not pose much of a threat to Wang Lan. The real threat was the all-rounder Nebula like Jiang Xinyu, as well as the people circled who had mastered secret techniques and bloodline talents. I'm still not strong enough. If I can master a Thunder Attribute Grade A Takashi Hoshi technique, my strength will double. He picked up his phone and logged into the Takashi Hoshi Hall's Takashi Hoshi Technology Exchange. There was no news from Gong Jian, but there were a few Grade B Takashi Hoshi techniques on the exchange. Wang Lan considered buying a Grade B Takashi Hoshi technique first. Water Attribute and Earth Attribute techniques were not bad. However, looking at the introduction of these Takashi Hoshi techniques, there were too many restrictions and they were not suitable for use in a competition. Although Wang Lan had the system cheat, his astral power was still star-blazing. These Takashi Hoshi techniques might run out of mana after 2 uses. Wang Lan was still more suited to Takashi Hoshi techniques that focused on a single point. These Takashi Hoshi techniques consumed less energy and lasted longer. It was best to wait until Nebula to learn the area of effect Takashi Hoshi techniques. Over the weekend, the group of 5 continued to cultivate, even exchanging their opinions on the provincial martial meeting. Before the information came out, they were full of confidence. However, When the information from the other cities came out, everyone was pessimistic. On Monday, the Takashi Hoshi campus was filled with colorful flags. After 3 days of delay, the final round of the city's selection was about to begin. The challenge competition was a round of competition to select the strongest team in the city's 3rd year of high school as much as possible. Even if they were eliminated in the preliminary round, they could still challenge the winning 10-man team. If they won the challenge, they would replace the challenge to join the city team. So early in the morning, Wang Lan and the other winning teams of 10 sat in the preparation area. Every person who lost in the preliminary round could sign up for a challenge, and then choose an opponent to fight until there were no more challengers. However, the players who were able to enter the top 10 were basically the strongest lineup. Other than Wang Lan and the other 4, there was 1 Nebula and 5-star Blazing players. And these 5-star Blazing players were bound to be the focus of the challengers. The first one to go up was Zhuang Haoyan. This guy was definitely in the starting lineup, but his luck was so bad that people couldn't help but pity him. In the first match, he met Wang Lan and was defeated in 1 move by Wang Lan due to the lack of information. It wasn't easy for him to replace Su Donghai, but in the end, he got Jiang Xinyu. Jiang Xinyu's ability had always crushed Zhuang Haoyan's. He couldn't beat her in close combat, and he couldn't beat her in long range either. Jiang Xinyu could control and defend, and she could focus on a single target or an area of effect attack. She had Takashi Hoshi's speed reduction skills and Takashi Hoshi's control skills. Zhuang Haoyan was defeated by Jiang Xinyu until he started to doubt his life. In the past few days, Zhuang Haoyan had been in a state of intense self-denial. He had always been a genius. Even if he couldn't compare to Jiang Xinyu and Mu Xiaoyan, he was still in the top 10. He could accept being defeated by Wang Lan, but then he was crushed by Jiang Xinyu. My results might be fake, right? The problem was, if he could struggle and then lose, he could say that he was defeated by Jiang Xinyu. However, the reality was that he was defeated by Wang Lan, and he didn't fare any better when he was defeated by Jiang Xinyu. Zhuang Haoyan was depressed. He locked himself in his room for 2 days and pondered over the same question. Was he really talented? Had he always overestimated himself? If it wasn't for his uncle, who was the dean of teaching, who came to enlighten him, he wouldn't have the courage to challenge again. After suffering 2 blows, Zhuang Haoyan's eyes were no longer as sharp as before. His calm eyes were like autumn pools. I want to challenge Zhang Xingqing. Wow. The students in the stands exclaimed in unison. Many people looked at Zhuang Haoyan in disbelief. It was Zhuang Haoyan who said that he wanted to challenge Zhang Xingqing. Zhuang Haoyan was such a proud person. Even if he wanted to challenge someone, he would challenge the strong one. For the past 3 years, Zhuang Haoyan had always been like that. He would challenge his limit and challenge opponents who were on par with him. It was reasonable for him to challenge Gong Feiyu and Su Xiangwen. However, no one expected him to challenge Zhang Xingqing, who made it to the top 10 purely by luck. He had always liked to challenge the toughest opponents, but suddenly he picked the weakest one. Zhuang Haoyan is useless. Su Xiangwen shook his head and said regretfully, his drive is gone. He would rather take the easy way out than take the easy way out. Zhuang Haoyan is gone. No, Zhuang Haoyan has matured. Wang Lan didn't think so. A man's real growth was to let go of his burdens and learn to make choices. Zhuang Haoyan kept a smile on his face in the face of the criticism from the students around him. He wasn't embarrassed, angry, sad, or arrogant. Zhang Xingqing shook his head with a bitter smile and stood up. I admit defeat. He couldn't even defeat one of the 5-star Blazing players present, let alone Nebula's Zhuang Haoyan. It was far beyond his expectations to make it this far. Zhang Xingqing admitted defeat, and Zhuang Haoyan advanced. Under everyone's gaze, Zhuang Haoyan slowly walked to the challenger's seat and took over Zhang Xingqing's position. Let's welcome the second challenger. I challenge Yi Yun. In the preliminary round, a few dark horses were defeated, so it was natural for them to participate in the challenge. Everyone only had one chance to challenge, so to be on the safe side, they naturally focused on the 5-star Blazing players. However, the strange thing was that Wang Lan, star blazing, was as bright as a torch in the dark night, but no one came to challenge him. After 5 rounds, 3 out of the 6 star blazing players had changed, but Wang Lan seemed to have been forgotten. No one challenged him. Next, Duan Ziki. The moment Duan Ziki's name appeared, Wang Lan's eyes instantly sharpened. As if she felt Wang Lan's gaze, Duan Ziki looked at Wang Lan, and the corners of her mouth suddenly cracked into a smile. I want to challenge. Su Xiangwen. Wang Lan looked at Duan Ziki, puzzled. Why did you keep staring at me and provoking me? Lanzi, I found a strange phenomenon. It seems that the people you beat up all wanting to beat them up again. How should I put it? Are you asking for a beating? Maybe. Don't hold back and don't let your guard down. I'm guessing that he'll use the flying Takashi Hoshi skill. Once he uses that, you'll be completely restrained. Understood. After the two went on stage, Duan Ziki turned around and smiled at Wang Lan. At this moment, Duan Ziki didn't take Su Xiangwen seriously. Let the match begin. The moment she finished speaking, the astral power around Su Xiangwen surged. In an instant, 3 physical doppelgangers appeared in the center of the field. Pure Yang Dharma. The astral power around the 4 Su Xiangwen exploded. The moment the astral power went berserk, they turned into flowing lights and rushed toward Duan Ziki. Duan Ziki turned around and grinned at Su Xiangwen, who was rushing toward her. Whoosh! A gust of wind blew, and in almost an instant, Duan Ziki's figure flashed through the middle of Su Xiangwen's 4 figures like a ray of light, piercing through like a bullet. Wang Lan suddenly sprung up, his face full of disbelief. So fast. All the students who saw this scene opened their mouths wide, their faces full of disbelief. This move of Takashi Hoshi was too fast. It was even twice as fast as when she was fighting Wang Lan. This was why Wang Lan couldn't help but stand up. If Duan Ziki had shown this ability before, Wang Lan wouldn't have been able to catch up with her even with his dynamic vision. Was Duan Ziki hiding her ability before? Or did she have a huge breakthrough in speed in the past 3 days? She must have made a breakthrough in the past 3 days. Wang Lan quickly thought. If she had this kind of speed before, Duan Ziki wouldn't have had a reason to hold back in the fight with him. This speed was probably the limit of the wind walking technique. If she was faster, she would have used the body flicker technique. Boom! With a burst of smoke, 1 Su Xiangwen exploded into smoke, leaving 3 Su Xiangwen on the scene. A drop of cold sweat slid down Su Xiangwen's face. Duan Ziki's dagger had almost brushed past his throat. If Su Xiangwen hadn't used the recoil of the rupturing fist to move back 30 centimeters, Duan Ziki's dagger would have slid past his throat. The narrow escape, just now, wasn't what really scared Su Xiangwen. Su Xiangwen's real fear was that Duan Ziki's speed was a little too fast. Su Xiangwen's eyes and reaction couldn't keep up with Duan Ziki's attack speed, even though he had activated his pure Yang Dharma idol. How could he fight against Duan Ziki's next attack? Duan Ziki behind him slowly turned around. The smile on her face was like a spring breeze, but it gave people the feeling of sunshine on a winter day. Although it was bright and beautiful, it was bone-chilling. Are you going to admit defeat or die? I may lose, but I won't admit defeat. With that, another burst of smoke appeared, and another Su Xiangwen appeared beside him. Next attack, I'll pierce your throat. In an instant, a gust of wind wrapped around Duan Ziki's body again. At the same time, the 4 Su Xiangwen stood together, back to back, forming a battle array. Waves of astral power gushed out from each of them, and each of them had a different astral power. Pure Yang Dharma idol, thousand-armed Buddha. Duan Ziki's body instantly turned into a stream of light and rushed towards Su Xiangwen. In an instant, Su Xiangwen's body seemed to be surrounded by a barrier. A 10-meter-tall Buddha's shadow wrapped around Su Xiangwen's body. Hundreds of arms stretched out from the Buddha's back, and the moment they took shape, they turned into countless fists and bombarded Su Xiangwen. Damn, there really are thousands of arms? Lao Su knows this move? This move is the true form of the pure Yang Dharma idol. Lao Su can only master it when he's at least in the galaxy realm. However, I didn't expect Lao Tzu to find another way. He used 4 doppelgangers to take care of different areas, and the 4 doppelgangers worked together to complete an emasculated version of the thousand-armed Buddha. Wang Lan, your idea of drawing a circle with your left hand and a square with your right hand is very suitable for Lao Tzu. Chapter 190. After hearing Gong Feiyu's words, Wang Lan instantly understood. Wang Lan had previously said that to use the compound Takashi Hoshi technique, one had to use 4 minds at the same time. Normally, it would be very difficult for one person to multitask. However, Su Xiangwen was someone who could create 4 physical clones. If each of the clones controlled a part of the technique, and the 4 clones were of one mind, he could really multitask. If not for the fact that Su Xiangwen only had the yang attribute, it would be much easier for him to use the compound Takashi Hoshi technique with 2 additional attributes. Boom, boom, boom. A cloud of dust curled up, and a figure retreated from the fierce bombardment. Duan Ziki retreated to the edge of the arena. She clutched her chest and suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood. Duan Ziki, how are your injuries? Can you continue to compete? The referee, standing at the edge of the arena, hurriedly asked. I'm fine. Duan Ziki stood up again after spitting out a mouthful of blood. She gently wiped the blood from the corner of her mouth. She raised her head and looked at Su Xiangwen's Buddha projection. This technique is already Nebula's strength. It's a pity that you're using the Takashi Hoshi technique with 4 people working together. Being unable to move is the biggest flaw of this technique. Even if you stand still, I can still beat the shit out of you. Duan Ziki's clothes fluttered in the wind as she slowly rose into the air. She looked down at Su Xiangwen like a god. Hundreds of meters in the air, Duan Ziki's figure was covered by the sunlight. Everyone stretched their necks and held their breaths as they nervously endured the glaring sunlight. Suddenly, the astral power in the sky surged, and a fierce wind swept up the clouds. Just a moment ago, the sky was clear, but in the blink of an eye, the wind and clouds changed. The wind swept up, and the white clouds gathered. Wang Lan looked gravely at Duan Ziki, who was falling from the sky, and his heart instantly jumped to his chest. This technique made Wang Lan feel a strong pressure. If it had been Wang Lan himself, he would have had to use the purple flame arrow to block Duan Ziki's attack. This was also because the purple flame arrow countered Duan Ziki's wind attribute. Duan Ziki's head was facing downwards, and his entire body turned into a ball of rapidly spinning wind drill. Especially at the point between his fingers, the condensed wind blade seemed to have transformed into lightning. Lightning's characteristic was condensation. Wind blade's cutting power, coupled with its extremely strong condensation, made this move not only have the terrifying cutting power of a wind blade, but also the terrifying speed of lightning. Su Xiangwen won't be able to block this technique, Jiang Xinyu shouted suddenly, anxiously. Su Xiangwen wasn't the only one who wouldn't be able to block it. Takashi Hoshi below the galaxy grade, even the metal attribute Takashi Hoshi, who were known for their defense, wouldn't be able to block it. In an instant, Duan Ziki's attack fell on Su Xiangwen's head. Su Xiangwen's thousand-armed Buddha suddenly launched a dense and terrifying attack at Duan Ziki in the sky. However, Duan Ziki was like a ghost in the wind. She nimbly avoided the bombardment of the thousand-armed Buddha and viciously slammed into the Buddha's head. Boom! A strong pressure exploded in an instant, and the wind swept up the clouds and wreaked havoc. Xiangwen, retreat. Boom! An explosion occurred the moment Wang Lan's voice rang out. A figure was sent flying from the center of the explosion and shot out. Wang Lan's figure flashed and instantly disappeared from the preparation platform. He slithered like a snake and caught Su Xiangwen before Su Xiangwen landed on the ground. The moment he caught Su Xiangwen, Wang Lan's face instantly became extremely gloomy. Su Xiangwen's injuries were more than 10 times more serious than he had imagined. His entire body was covered with cuts from the wind blades. Wang Lan could sense that countless tiny wind blades were cutting Su Xiangwen's muscles and tissues all over his body. Without the help of a powerful medical Takashi Hoshi, Su Xiangwen would have lost contact with every organ and limb in his body. Even if he was alive, he would be a lump of flesh. When Wang Lan caught Su Xiangwen, Jiang Xinyu and Gong Feiyu instantly appeared beside Wang Lan. Wang Lan had already ripped Su Xiangwen's clothes apart and pressed his palm on Su Xiangwen's chest. Astral power surged, and the Takashi Hoshi's healing skill was activated. "How is Xiangwen? Give me a soul pearl," Wang Lan yelled in a low voice. Jiang Xinyu's face instantly changed after hearing this. She stared coldly at Duan Ziki, who had smashed a huge hole in the competition platform. At this moment, Duan Ziki was kneeling on one knee, and the wind was whistling around her like a hazy fog. Jiang Xinyu knew how powerful Wang Lan's healing ability was. With his reserve of astral power, he could even save Wang Lan, who was on the verge of death. The more serious the injury, the more astral power would be needed. Even Wang Lan needed to replenish his soul pearl to complete the healing. Su Xiangwen's injury was several times worse than a near-death injury. It could be said that every inch of Su Xiangwen's body was being cut by tiny wind needles. Therefore, Wang Lan's healing was akin to rebuilding Su Xiangwen's body. Only Wang Lan could heal such an injury. Without hesitation, Jiang Xinyu took out a soul pearl from her purse and handed it to Wang Lan. With the soul pearl as a foundation, Wang Lan's heart calmed down. "Wang Lan, how's Su Xiangwen's injury?" The referee ran over anxiously. He was also shocked by the impact just now. With such a violent collision, he almost thought that the two of them had perished together. Fortunately, Duan Ziki was fine, and Su Xiangwen looked like he was still alive. "It's okay. Give me 3 minutes." On the spectators' stands, after a short moment of dead silence, buzzing sounds of discussion rang out. "CK, I used to think that we were classmates and that everyone was carrying a head on their shoulders. But now I understand that they are gods and we are mere mortals. If we can do such a thing in our lifetime, we will be able to smile in the underworld. Was this a fight between two nebula realms? I would believe it if they were galaxy grade. Forget it. We're a bunch of star brilliance realm people blindly guessing for. Maybe this is really the normal battle prowess of a nebula realm cultivator. A galaxy realm cultivator could destroy an entire city with a single punch. That's right. You've watched too many cartoons. A galaxy tier can destroy a city with a single punch. A star C tier can destroy a country with a single kick. The 5 emperors are the kind that can destroy a planet with a single punch, and the 5 elders are the kind that can destroy half a galaxy with a single attack. Hey, you're wrong. The 5 emperors are Jade State's strongest combat strength. The 5 elders may not be stronger than the 5 emperors. The buzz of discussion continued. After Wang Lan consumed 2 soul pearls, he moved his hand away from Su Xiangwen's chest. "How is it?" Gong Feiyu asked nervously. "He should be fine. Why hasn't he woken up yet?" "Xinyu, should we cool him down?" Whoosh! A wisp of cold smoke shot out from Jiang Xinyu's palm, aiming straight for Su Xiangwen's face. "I'll get up right away. Right away," Su Xiangwen screamed and sat up with a whoosh. But even when he sat up, his eyes were still closed. He reached out and searched everywhere. "What are you looking for? Clothes? Can you King open your eyes?" At this time, Su Xiangwen opened his sleepy eyes. "Huh? Why am I here? Is this the sports field? What day is it today?" After violent impact, a person would have a short memory lapse. This was the human body's self-protection mechanism. Once the person was sure that the lapse would not cause any harm to the body, the memory would gradually return. Today is the challenge. Wang Lan grabbed Su Xiangwen's hand and pulled him up. As long as Su Xiangwen was fine, Wang Lan and the others were in a good mood and began their daily teasing. "You slept in school last night so that you wouldn't be late. Now you're up for the competition." "Nonsense. Even if I slept in school, I wouldn't sleep in the sports field. Wait, I think I'm in the middle of a competition. Am I King interrupted? Although your memory is bad, your IQ is still online. Don't worry. Let's wait, and the spectator stands for a while before challenging again. You still have one more chance. After sending Su Xiangwen off, Wang Lan, Jiang Xinyu, and Gong Feiyu returned to the stands. Duan Ziki was already sitting in Su Xiangwen's seat. My seat should be mine. I will definitely get it back. Wang Lan, your medical Takashi Hoshi skills are very good. After the provincial martial arts competition, please take care of me. You won't take revenge for this personal grudge, right? Duan Ziki smiled faintly at Wang Lan, as if nothing had happened. Nope. Wang Lan smiled and shook his head. Wang Lan, I actually wanted to challenge you again, but the principal found me and said that you must participate in the provincial martial arts competition. It's not because of your strength, but because of your medical Takashi Hoshi status. It's indispensable for the city team. Duan Ziki continued to blabber on. Beside him, Jiang Xinyu and Gong Feiyu were staring straight ahead with cold faces. Jiang Xinyu tapped her fingers lightly. Gong Feiyu rubbed his chin, wondering if they should. Are you done? Where did you get the confidence to be on the team? Wang Lan looked at Duan Ziki with a smile. I'm already sitting here. Do you think anyone can kick me out? Wang Lan gently took out his phone. Hey Cici, how's Xianwen? Can he still fight? His mind is still a bit messy. He might need another hour to recover. You should participate in the challenge. Me? Challenge who? I can't beat them. Challenge me. Jiang Xinyu smiled. Gong Feiyu suddenly turned around and looked at Wang Lan with admiration. Why didn't I think of this? As for Duan Ziqi, who had been listening to the entire conversation, his face instantly darkened. He had never expected Wang Lan to play such a trick. Wang Lan fought his way to the top 10. Even if he lost, he still had another chance to challenge. That's not good. It's fine. My goal is to participate in the challenge. You know that. Is there anyone else who wants to challenge? If you want to challenge, please come and register. If not, the challenge is over. I'll challenge. CSCC came to the stage and shouted. You? The dean frowned. He knew CSCC well. She was a good seedling. However, CSCC's platform was in university, not high school. With her strength, she wouldn't be able to pass the first round of the provincial martial arts competition. However, the rules were there. Although he didn't want CSCC to participate in the challenge, he still nodded and agreed to CSCC's request. CSCC, who do you want to challenge? The dean asked casually. In his opinion, she would lose no matter who she challenged. Wang Lan. Cough, cough, cough. The dean spat out a mouthful of wolfberries. Chapter 191. CSCC. Who did you say you wanted to challenge? I want to challenge Wang Lan. Before the head of teaching could react, Wang Lan had already walked down from the stage. On the stage. I admit defeat. F***CK. There's something going on. The students on the stage immediately exploded when they heard this. Although I've long heard that CSCC and Wang Lan have a good relationship, I didn't expect it to be to this extent, right? Isn't this blatant cheating? That's why I said there's something going on. That, Wang Lan, the city selection isn't child's play. If you admit defeat so easily, you must have a valid reason, right? Also, if you deliberately cheat, the head of teaching will punish you. If you didn't know Wang Lan's identity, the head of teaching would have already cursed it out loud. CSCC challenging Wang Lan was already very ridiculous, yet you actually admitted defeat? Are you kidding? Head of teaching, CSCC and I are both star glory grade Takashi Hoshi, so I don't have an advantage in star power. Also, CSCC is a water element Takashi Hoshi and has mastered many water element Takashi Hoshi skills. My fire element is countered by her, so it's reasonable for me to admit defeat. What the F***CK? It's reasonable. CSCC could beat Wang Lan, even if they were both using star blazing. Wang Lan had defeated 2 Nebula in a row, and both of them have been easily defeated. Can't beat CSCC, but Wang Lan's reason was completely reasonable. According to common sense, a water element Takashi Hoshi of the same level should be countered by a water element. Was he supposed to say, Wang Lan, you're a normal fire element Takashi Hoshi? He really couldn't bring himself to say this reason. Cece, what are you waiting for? Come and sit down. Su Xiangwen stood up and waved its yes, Cece. Cece, go ahead. After saying that, Wang Lan smiled at the dean. Dean, I want to challenge him. The teaching director came back to his senses, and his expression became warmer. So Wang Lan wanted to help his little girlfriend participate in the provincial martial arts competition. Forget it. As long as the main force of the city's representative team didn't change, it would be fine. In any case, he would bring along 2 people who would be eliminated in the first round. It didn't matter who he brought along. Although puppy love is strictly prohibited in high school, you guys are about to graduate, so the teaching director decided to turn a blind eye to it. Okay, who do you want to challenge? Duan Ziki. The dean's face darkened when he heard the name. Duan Ziki, Wang Lan, and Su Xiangwen were the default starting team of the school. Duan Ziki's elimination of Su Xiangwen had already made the dean's face very ugly. But no matter what, Su Xiangwen still had the qualifications to continue to challenge. But Duan Ziki had already used her challenge opportunity. If she was defeated this time, she wouldn't be able to revive. This was something the teaching director didn't want to see. Wang Lan classmate, how about we change to another person? Dean, is this the school's idea? This is my personal suggestion. I know you guys have some conflicts with Duan Ziki, but you can't ignore the overall situation just because Duan Ziki defeated Su Xiangwen, right? This is the selection of Su City's representative team. I hope you guys can put your personal grudges aside and put the school's and Su City's honor first. Su Xiangwen still has a chance to revive, but if Duan Ziki loses, she won't. With Duan Ziki's strength, she can be your comrade in the provincial martial arts competition. Dean, I insist on challenging Duan Ziki. Wang Lan once again shouted in a deep voice. As long as it doesn't violate the rules, in principle, we can't forcibly intervene and change it. Headmaster Zhang, who was also on the viewing platform, suddenly spoke up. Then okay. Wang Lan classmate challenges Duan Ziki. Duan Ziki classmate, please come down and accept the challenge. Duan Ziki's ashen face suddenly changed, revealing a gloomy sneer. She stood up and walked down the preparation platform step by step to the competition field. I've already gone around you, but I didn't expect you to still be so unforgiving. After last time's fight, did you become so arrogant that you think you're stronger than me? Wang Lan quietly stood in place, quietly watching Duan Ziki's gloomy face. He didn't know what Duan Ziki had experienced these days, but her skin seemed to be a lot darker than 3 days ago. For the past few days, the brothers of the Heavenly Sword Bureau had been monitoring Duan Ziki 24/7, but Duan Ziki didn't do anything other than cultivate. Moreover, the amount of cultivation she had done these days shocked even the brothers of the Heavenly Sword Bureau. However, they had never heard of anyone who cultivated at night could get a tan. The challenge between Wang Lan and Duan Ziki begins now. Beep! The moment the whistle sounded, Duan Ziki's figure instantly disappeared, turning into a stream of light and disappearing. The moment the whistle sounded, Wang Lan activated his dynamic vision. Under his dynamic vision, Duan Ziki's speed was constantly slowed down, and the slower she was, the more astral power and Wang Lan consumed. The astral power around Wang Lan went berserk, and the light in his right eye seemed to be overflowing. His eyeball was swollen, and there was a slight pain. After slowing down 20 times, Wang Lan could barely see Duan Ziki's movements clearly. Under 20 times, Wang Lan's body seemed to be frozen, and his every movement was like a crawling snail. Oh no, it's too late. In the blink of an eye, Wang Lan determined that even if his eyes could keep up, his body's movements definitely wouldn't be able to keep up with Duan Ziki's attack. In an instant, Wang Lan changed his tactics. He gave up the idea of using the flaming saber and switched to the nebulous sword dance. Duan Ziki's speed was performed with the help of the wind attribute Takashi Hoshi. She wasn't flexible enough, so she couldn't achieve the super fast reflexes of the yang attribute and the thunder attribute. Whoosh! The students in the stands only saw a flash before their eyes. A stream of light flashed past their eyes, and then the 2 figures changed positions. Wang Lan's throat still felt the sharpness of Duan Ziqi's saber. Duan Ziqi's eyes were also filled with doubt. She had a rough idea of Wang Lan's speed in the previous round. According to her estimation, Wang Lan wouldn't be able to dodge at such a speed. However, Wang Lan dodged, and in Duan Ziqi's eyes, Wang Lan only floated back gently, comfortably avoiding her slash. Wang Lan gently rubbed his right eye. It turned out that there was a limit to his dynamic vision. However, when the speed reached a certain level, even if he widened his eyes, he might not be able to see clearly. However, the most important thing now wasn't his eyes, but the problem of how to win this round. This time, Duan Ziqi's strength was a little too strong. The current Duan Ziqi could easily defeat the two from 3 days ago. How could she have made such rapid progress in 3 days? Once again, Duan Ziqi's figure turned into a green light. This time, Wang Lan was already prepared. He instantly opened his dynamic vision to the maximum, and the flame saber in his hands lit up at the same time. Under his dynamic vision, Duan Ziqi turned into a wind demon and crashed into his face. The wind pressure bombarded his face, and a fierce wind blew his face open. In Wang Lan's field of vision, she saw the wind devil's ghastly teeth. Cross flame saber. Boom! A wind dragon suddenly exploded and circled in front of Wang Lan. The cross flame saber burned with purple flames like a holy cross. In front of the cross flame saber, there was a gap of more than 10 meters long. However, Duan Ziqi's figure seemed to have disappeared into thin air. Duh! Wang Lan stretched out his fingertip. A drop of blood fell on his fingertip and slowly spread down. Silently looking up, above Wang Lan's head, a black shadow was suspended 100 meters high in the air. The blood was dripping from Duan Ziqi's body. The blow just now was a matter of life and death. Except for Wang Lan and Duan Ziqi, no one knew the details of what happened. At the critical moment, Wang Lan successfully raised the flame saber and blocked Duan Ziqi's attack before it could reach him. The sharpness of the flame saber easily cut through the wind blade barrier. Naturally, Duan Ziqi was not willing to wait for death. She pierced through with her dagger, intending to attack Wang Lan's throat and die together with him. However, Duan Ziqi miscalculated the length of her arm. If he continued to pass the dagger, his entire arm would be cut off. Duan Ziqi had to use the rising force of the wind, meeting the flame, to go straight to the sky. However, Duan Ziqi's shoulder was still injured by the flame saber. Blood dripped down. Not to mention the audience in the stands. Even the school leaders on the rostrum were all stunned. Principal, this is definitely a quality battle in the finals. Even in the finals last year, no one showed such strength, right? Look at the fluctuation of star power. Look at the degree of danger of this tactic. Wang Lan and Duan Ziqi should both be on the city team. Then have you thought about the consequences of not being on the same team? Today, even if Wang Lan fails his challenge, the next one will be Jiang Xinyu's challenge. In the past 3 years, you should know the extent of the conflict between Duan Ziqi and Jiang Xinyu. Who is right and who is wrong? What do you think? But for the honor of the school and Sioux City, they should abandon their prejudices. You don't know what they think. In their words, what does the honor of the school and Sioux City have to do with me? Young people, don't they just want to have a clear mind and feel refreshed? Duan Ziqi floated in the air, but she knew that if it was someone else, they would be helpless against her. However, Wang Lan could shoot Takashi Hoshi. In the air, she was just a target in Wang Lan's eyes. Sure enough, after Duan Ziqi quickly recovered her star power, Wang Lan raised his right hand. Your Takashi Hoshi is just a form-changing type of gun that doesn't need bullets. Since it's like this, let's decide the winner in one battle. Greedy wolf roar. In an instant, the astral energy fluctuations in the sky began to surge wildly. A gale swept up, stirring up the clouds in the sky. An extremely condensed wind blade formed in the sky, and Duan Ziqi's body fell rapidly from the sky. Looking at this scene, Su Xiangwen suddenly stood up from the spectator's stand. I remember now. F*CK, Wang Lan, dodge. This move is very scary. That wind blade is made up of countless wind needles. It can't be defended against, it can't be blocked. Su Xiangwen's excited voice exploded, but was powerlessly swallowed by the whistling wind. Suddenly, star power surged around Wang Lan's body, and a pair of huge wings burning with purple flames appeared on his wrist that pointed to the sky. In a trance, in many people's eyes, Wang Lan's arm turned into an Anubis spear made of purple flames. Purple flame, arrow. Whoosh! The arrow made of purple flames instantly shot towards Duan Ziki in the sky. Almost instantly, the arrow and Duan Ziki's wind blade met. Time seemed to freeze, and the world paused slightly. Then, the huge wind blade in the sky turned purple. Almost instantly, the purple flames engulfed the huge wind blade. Chapter 192. Wow! Everyone in the stands on the field was dumbfounded. The power of this move of Duan Ziki's had just been demonstrated half an hour ago. With one move, she had broken Su Xiangwen's thousand-armed Buddha into pieces. Everyone thought that when Duan Ziqi used this move, Wang Lan would only be able to use an even stronger move to counter it. No matter what kind of earth-shattering move it was after this move, there would definitely be someone who would fall. But no one expected that Wang Lan would only lightly shoot an arrow. Although this arrow was burning with flames, the momentum and movement of this arrow could not be compared to Duan Ziki's move. This is a bit hard to understand. Could it be that the suppression of attributes is so touching? Such a strong wind blade attack, but it can't withstand a flame arrow? Are you kidding? Did Duan Ziki become a coward or something? A burst of discussion could be heard from the spectator stands. Teacher Lu Jia, it seems that you are not very surprised. Do you know what is going on? Wang Lan's Takashi Hoshi skill. I don't think I've seen it before. A female Takashi Hoshi teacher came to Lu Jia's side and asked softly. It seems that Wang Lan's arrow is ordinary, but if you really understand what this arrow represents, you will feel that it is natural. You should recognize the flame sword that Wang Lan used against Duan Ziki before, right? Last year's Takashi Hoshi tournament champion, Wolf King's signature skill. Wang Lan classmate is Wolf Cub, right? But even if he is Wolf Cub, Duan Ziki's move is definitely not comparable to those blazing Takashi Hoshi players in the Takashi Hoshi tournament. Yes, but what is that purple flame? You should still have an impression. Purple flame, with a temperature of nearly 10,000 degrees, is known as the limit of colored flames. Further up, there was pure light and heat. The purple flame was already the highest temperature a fire-type Takashi Hoshi could control. For example, the Fire Emperor's purple sea surge would cover 100 meters of the sea of purple flames. All beasts within this area would be annihilated by this move. Even the Fire Emperor was using purple flames. Wang Lan wasn't able to unleash his purple flames over a large area. However, the quality of his flames had already reached the level of the Fire Emperor. It's already a miracle that Wang Lan can use the purple flame in this realm, but he can actually use the purple flame as an arrow. Don't you understand the mystery behind it? Takashi Hoshi composite technique. The beautiful teacher took a deep breath and asked in surprise. That's right. Compound Takashi Hoshi technique. Fire countered wind, and the purple flames perfectly countered wind. However, if the two were to fight at a close distance, even the purple flames would not be able to melt the wind blades in an instant. Wang Lan still had the possibility of being defeated. However, at a distance of tens of meters, the purple flames would be able to completely engulf the wind blades. In this battle, Wang Lan perfectly countered Duan Ziki in terms of attributes and form. It was only natural for such a result to occur. Boom! Suddenly, a loud explosion rang out in the air. It was like fireworks exploding in the air. Amidst the fireworks, Duan Ziki's body fell from the sky, bringing with it a cloud of black smoke as she crashed into the ground. At this moment, Duan Ziki was in a terrible state. She looked like a coal that had just been dug out from mine. Her clothes were still fluttering with sparks. Duan Ziki! Wang Lan! Hurry up and treat Duan Ziki. Teacher, please announce the result. All right, I will now announce, wait. Suddenly, a deep voice rang out. Duan Ziki, who seemed to have fainted, suddenly moved. Slowly and weirdly, she propped herself up from the ground. I'm fine, I'm fine. Duan Ziki stood up, pulled down her sleeves, and gently wiped her face. Awesome, being able to fight with you has been my blessing for the past 3 years. After being engulfed by the purple flames, Duan Ziki's surface was actually a little charred, and nothing else happened? Wang Lan was secretly surprised, but he didn't show it on his face. I thought that meeting me was your misfortune in life. At least, with me here, you can't forget about participating in the provincial martial competition. Haha. Duan Ziki looked up to the sky and laughed. You don't think it's all I've got, do you? Wang, Wang, Wang. Suddenly, an irritating noise sounded out. Wang Lan's brows furrowed, while Duan Ziqi's expression changed drastically. Unwillingness, pain, anger. Finally, it turned into powerlessness. I admit defeat. Duan Ziki suddenly raised her hand and said, What? I admit defeat. Duan Ziki left these 3 words, turned around, and reluctantly looked at the preparation stage. She had just sat down and didn't even have time to warm her seat, then turned and walked out of the arena. Duan Ziki admits defeat. Wang Lan's challenge is successful. Please enter the preparation area. Wang Lan looked at Duan Ziki's back, and his mind went up and down. Before, Duan Ziki definitely didn't look like he was going to admit defeat. He definitely had a backup plan, and the battle intent he burst out was definitely not fake. But why did he suddenly admit defeat? At this moment, he must have received some kind of instruction. The sudden buzzing sound just now, was it his brain's illusion or something? Ding, ding, ding. Wang Lan's phone rang. He picked it up and saw that it was a call from Su Shurian. Hello, Brother Su. Did you hear a buzzing sound at school? Just now? I heard it. What was that? Demonic sound. It's the demon's ultrasonic communication language. In the past, the demons used demonic sound to communicate over short and medium distances. After we deciphered it 30 years ago, the demons never used this kind of communication again. Unless it's an emergency, the demons definitely won't use it. Just now, the communication team informed me that demonic sound was detected, and after giving me the approximate range, the first thing I thought of was you. Demonic sound? That's almost certain. Wang Lan walked to the corner and whispered, What are you certain of? I'm certain that Duan Ziki is a spy for the demons, or rather, he's a traitor. I was fighting with Duan Ziki just now, but when the demonic sound sounded, Duan Ziki suddenly admitted defeat. He must have received orders from the demonic sound, and Duan Ziki is almost confirmed. Do you want to arrest him? Let me ask Wang Chu. Okay. Wang Lan once again returned to the preparation stage. The challenges were still ongoing, and CSCC nervously looked at the stage. Every time someone issued a challenge, her heart would beat violently. She had already used up 1 challenge, and if she was defeated, she would have no chance at the provincial martial arts tournament. She didn't feel envious if she didn't obtain it, but the opportunity was right in front of her, and she had to watch it slip away. But strangely, until Su Xiangwen returned to the preparation stage, no one issued a challenge to CSCC. The challengers weren't stupid either. CSCC was obviously under the protection of 4 kings, and if they defeated CSCC, wasn't Duan Ziki's example tragic enough? This time, Wang Lan had stepped down, and the next one would be Jiang Xinyu. Are there any more challengers? If there aren't, then Sioux City's representative team for the provincial martial arts tournament will be decided. Wait! Suddenly, a voice seemed to be carried by the wind from afar, and it entered everyone's ears. When he heard this voice, the unhappy Dean immediately stood up, and an excited smile appeared on his face. Me too. A gust of wind blew past, and a figure gradually materialized on the stage. Mu Xiaoyan? Mu Xiaoyan! Mu Xiaoyan! He's finally here. I knew he would be able to pull himself together. Mu Xiaoyan had always been Jiang Xinyu's formidable opponent. In cultural studies, Jiang Xinyu had defeated Mu Xiaoyan, but in actual combat, Jiang Xinyu had lost more than she had won. Although Jiang Xinyu had always believed that she would win in actual combat, Mu Xiaoyun was definitely worthy of Jiang Xinyu's recognition and a competitor that she had to take seriously. He had been missing for almost a month, and he hadn't even participated in the preliminaries. She originally thought that Mu Xiaoyun would miss the provincial martial arts tournament, but she didn't expect him to appear at the last moment of the challenges. I signed up for the provincial martial arts tournament, but because of some matters, I couldn't participate in the school selection. But according to the rules, I should be able to participate in the challenges, right? That's right. Student Mu Xiaoyun. Who would you like to challenge? Qian Yufei. Okay, let's welcome Qian Yufei. No need, I admit defeat. Qian Yufei stood up and admitted defeat. He had no chance of winning against Mu Xiaoyun. Qian Yufei was also a proud person. Even if he didn't participate in the provincial martial arts tournament, he was confident that he could get into the first-class Sibu Gakuen with his strength. You have completed the school selection and successfully entered the city's representative team. You are rewarded with 8,000 experience and 300 skill points. When the head of teaching announced that Sioux City's representative team had been selected, Wang Lan's mind rang with the mission's rewards. Although the rewards were less than expected, this was only the city selection. If you were to compare it to the school selection, it would be the school selection. A team of 10 people didn't have a ranking, but they still had to choose a captain. If it was any other city's representative team, it would be filled with young men and women who were at the age of puberty. Was there a need to choose who would be the captain? Of course, it would be a fight. In the provincial martial arts tournament, the captain of a city's representative team represented the city's strongest third-year high school student. It would be very important to fill out one's resume in the future. Why do you think you can enter our school to further your studies? I've represented the city's third-year high school in the provincial martial arts tournament. Participated in the provincial martial arts tournament? You're the 7th. I'm the captain. I'm kneeling to the god. This was a difference. A very real difference. However, this time, there was a long period of silence in the battle for the captain's position. Everyone looked at each other. Jiang Xinyu's team had 5 members. Zhuang Haoyan's team had 3. Mu Xiaoyun's team had 1. And the usually unremarkable dark horse, Ma Chunshun, had shown his stubbornness and strength to make it into the team. Sioux City's representative team had 5 stars, Yun and Yao. It was a strong lineup compared to previous years, but it was only average in the province this year. In the end, Su Xiangwen's suggestion received everyone's approval. Brothers, after the fight, we'll be brothers in the trenches. After school, I'll treat everyone to barbecue. How about it? What's there to choose a captain? There are only 3 candidates. Xinyu, Xiaoyun, and Haoyan. I don't think anyone else has the qualifications to compete, right? Come on, Su Xiangwen, are you mocking me? Zhuang Haoyan waved his hand. You've all seen the results I handed in for this election. If you want me to be the captain, I'll embarrass the entire province. I'm not interested in being the captain either. Jiang Xinyu will be the one. Her strength and fame are enough to represent Sioux City. 3 sentences and a happy decision was made. Chapter 193. There was less than an hour left before the end of the day, so the school generously decided to end the day early. Carboniferous was a famous chain of barbecue brands in the country. Due to its authentic ingredients and large portions, it was loved by Takashi Hoshi. Carboniferous had 17 or 18 chain stores in Sioux City, and the most famous one was the Honding Square in the Guqing district. The sun was still hanging in the sky, but Wang Lan and the other representatives had already booked a private room in the Honding Square. Do you want some wine? Su Xiangwen asked enthusiastically, treating everyone. You're all underage, right? Drinking is not good. Zhuang Haoyan had always been a good boy. Plus, he lived under the supervision of his uncle, who was the head of the school, so he didn't even drink or smoke. I don't mind. I don't dislike alcohol, but I don't like it either, Mu Xiaoyun said indifferently. Don't drink. Wait until you're 18. Lanzi, don't make up excuses if you can't drink. The legal age of adulthood in Jade State is 16. I'm curious. It's not the first time you've moved the legal age back by 2 years. Since ancient times, hasn't it always been 16? What about the age of 20 and 20? Let's not drink. Juice, Jiang Xinyu said. Carboniferous served fast, and the service was top-notch. The three waiters were responsible for the barbecue, and Wang Lan and the other representatives were responsible for eating. However, it was clear that the waiters had underestimated Wang Lan and the others' eating speed. If they hadn't slowed down and cracked jokes to liven up the atmosphere, the waiters would have been so busy that their hands would cramp. "Waiter, bring me the menu. I want more." Su Xiangwen suddenly stood up and said, "Yes, sir. Please wait a moment." Suddenly, Su Xiangwen frowned. The astral power in his body surged, and the third eye opened between his eyebrows. A waitress who was about to add water for them saw Su Xiangwen's third eye open between his eyebrows. Her hand trembled, and the tea fell from her hand. Bang! A hand suddenly reached out and easily caught the falling teapot. Mu Xiaoyan handed the tea to the waiter with a smile. "Don't be afraid, Mississippi. We are Takashi Hoshi, not monsters." Understood. Thank you. It was not unusual for waiters in the food and beverage industry to see Takashi Hoshi. However, he was startled by Su Xiangwen's sudden opening of his eyes. In an instant, he regained his senses and was no longer afraid. "Xiangwen, what are you doing? Why did you suddenly open your third eye?" Wang Lan asked in a slightly reproachful tone. "I saw Duan Ziki. He's in the back alley, surrounded by a lot of people. I think they're gangsters. Him? Forget it. Those gangsters are unlucky. Wait, who dares to touch Duan Ziki in the ancient city district?" Wang Lan suddenly asked curiously. "Do you want to go and take a look? Why are you looking at him?" "Anyway, we won't lose anything. Let's continue eating," Su Xiangwen said indifferently. Wang Lan suddenly stood up and opened the curtains. "I'll go take a look. Leave some for me. I'll be back soon." As soon as he finished speaking, Wang Lan's figure disappeared with a whoosh. When did this guy become so enthusiastic? Su Xiangwen was speechless. Behind Handing Square, there was an ancient city building that was specially preserved by the government. Back then, no matter how much money Handing Square spent, they could not persuade the government to demolish the ancient city building. Otherwise, Handing Square would be at least 3 times bigger than it was now. In the alley of the ancient city, Duan Ziki leaned against the wall and slowly lit a cigarette. He took a deep breath and blew out a column of smoke. "Kid, who the hell are you? Why did you ask us to come here? You guys used to hang around with Brother Lee?" Duan Ziki faintly glanced at him and asked. "That's right. Brother Lee lost. We have to guard the territory for Brother Lee. Who are you? Don't dilly-dally. My patience is limited. Don't wait until I lose my patience. Everything will be too late. It's nothing. Today, I'm in a bad mood. I really want to beat someone up. I called you guys here because I want to beat you guys up. F***CK. In an instant, Duan Ziki moved. His body was like the wind, weaving in and out of dozens of hooligans with steel pipes and machetes. Even without Takashi Hoshi, Duan Ziki's speed was still very fast. Not only was he fast, but he was also fast and ruthless. One punch to break ribs, one twist to break an arm, one gentle lift to dislocate an arm, and one slight twist to dislocate a meridian. In less than 3 minutes, nearly 20 hooligans were all knocked to the ground. Duan Ziki gently clapped his hands. "Feels good." As he spoke, he flung his jacket and stepped on the wailing hooligans as he walked to the end of the alley. After Duan Ziki disappeared, a figure mysteriously appeared beside Wang Lan. Wang Lan didn't turn around and asked faintly, "You're not going to catch them?" Wang Chu said to monitor them for a while. "If we catch them, there's a certain risk of being silenced." Since Wang Chu said so, then forget it. "Oh yeah, what's he doing? Is he helping Brother Lee clean up the mess?" "No. According to my observation, he's just in a bad mood today. This is already the 3rd batch. How many of you are monitoring?" "Just me. Another brother will take over at 8 p.m. Thank you for your hard work. I'll treat you to a meal when we're done." He. How about Carboniferous barbecue?" "No problem." After Wang Lan said goodbye to his brothers in the intelligence department, he returned to Carboniferous. Wang Lan didn't know how much he had eaten in the 10 minutes he was away, but the number of waiters in the room had increased by 7. 3 barbecue grills were barbecuing food at the same time. The meal lasted until 8 o'clock in the evening. After everyone left, Wang Lan sat in Su Xiangwen's car with a lot on his mind. Lan Zi, what are you thinking about? Su Xiangwen turned off the music and asked softly. I'm thinking that your ability is very suitable for monitoring. That's right. Within 100 meters, I can see through everything. Within 500 meters, nothing can escape my sky eyes detection. My future path has already been decided. I'm a team scout. If you join the army in the future, I'll join the army with you. In the future, if you want to explore new lands, I'll explore new lands with you. F***CK. Why did you say that I'm very touched? Do you have to be so emotional? Emotional, my ass. What do you want me to find partners like us who complement each other, have a tacit understanding, and can completely trust each other? In our 4-person team, our ability complements each other more than 90%. We're destined to be a team, okay? Now it's 5. CC is indeed not bad. I'm just stating facts. In terms of compliments, CC isn't necessary, but she can be completely trusted. When she grows up in the future, she could be a team commander. At that time, CC and Fei Yu will be team commanders. I'll be melee combat and scouting, and you'll be a healer and team commander. Our team is absolutely invincible. Since you're so sincere in wanting to follow me, how about I give you a mission? Have some shame. What do you mean by following you? We're working together to complement each other. That's called a win-win situation. I'm serious. The smile on Su Xiangwen's face froze. What mission? I'll definitely do whatever you want me to do. You're using a clone to monitor at night. It won't affect your rest, right? A clone can't use Sky Eye, okay? Su Xiangwen rolled his eyes. Sky Eye's my talent. Have you ever seen a clone who can use a talent? All right, forget it then. Who do you want me to monitor? Forget it. It's too dangerous. Pretend I didn't say anything. Do you not see me as a brother? You can't use a clone to monitor. If you're discovered, you might not even have a chance to escape. Do you think I dare to tell you? You're monitoring Duan Ziki, right? Su Xiangwen suddenly asked with a faint smile. How did you know? Today, I saw Duan Ziki being surrounded by triads, and you were so concerned about her that you followed her. Who are you, Lanzi? You're as calm as an old dog and never meddle in other people's business. Other than us brothers, who else do you really care about? To be so concerned about Duan Ziki, you either have an affair or an ulterior motive. Why is it that any words that pass through your mouth can change their flavor? Let me put it this way. Behind Duan Ziki, there's a demon spy. We've already started monitoring Duan Ziki, but compared to her, your ability is more thorough. Speaking of which, what level of talent is your heavenly eye? Talent level, a level. Potential, S level. If it wasn't for this potential, do you think I would have been taught a Takashi Hoshi technique like the pure Yondharma idol? By the way, you said you guys? Ever since we first discovered the demon's base in the training field, I feel like you've suddenly become mysterious. Tell me honestly, did you join some related department? Heavenly Sword Bureau. As expected, ever since your aunt got into trouble, I felt that there was something wrong with your mentality. I've thought about it, and there's only one reason why you're so calm. You know what you're doing. Heavenly Sword Bureau. I've thought about it, but I heard that it's very difficult to get into the Heavenly Sword Bureau. We're still in school, but you've already contributed to the country. Not at all. It's just a backup. Then am I considered your subordinate? No. T-Sage, you're not even giving me an extra position? You're my brother. Wang Lan said solemnly. Actually, it's very easy for me to monitor Duan Ziki. Where does he live? Can't I just buy a house near him? The atmosphere suddenly became very quiet. Sometimes, people would foolishly fall into the wrong trap. When he thought of monitoring, why did Wang Lan only think of hiding in a secluded alley or sneaking around in a corner and then keeping an eye on the target? Once this kind of monitoring was discovered, it was very likely that he would be lured into a trap. Su Xiangwen's monitoring concept was very advanced. Buy a house nearby and directly monitor it. If he was more ruthless, buy a house next door. Duan Ziki's house wasn't a standalone villa. There were many neighbors upstairs and downstairs. Moreover, There was a small square behind Duan Ziki's house. It didn't lack anything. There was no risk in getting a room and monitoring through the wall. How about it? Okay, but you have to be careful. Don't meet Duan Ziki. If he sees you, you'll be exposed. Understood. If you discover anything, don't act on your own. You have to inform me. Don't get lucky. He's a spy from the demons. Although I like to brag, I'm not arrogant. You know what kind of person I am. I never joke about my life. By the way, do I have a chance to enter the Heavenly Sword Bureau? Are you sure? Heavenly Sword Bureau. Heavenly Sword Special Service. How prestigious is that? I should have a recommendation. With your ability, the possibility is not small. Wang Lan was now a Red Spectre captain. As an elite Red Spectre in the Heavenly Sword Bureau, a recommendation was not too much. Chapter 194. After being sent to Xingyu Building by Su Xiangwen, Wang Lan once again warned Su Xiangwen to be careful and not expose himself. Once exposed, the consequences would be unimaginable. However, Wang Lan was so worried because he cared too much about Su Xiangwen. Su Xiangwen was not an inexperienced student. Su Xiangwen had experienced actual combat in the trial field, and he was born with a strong sense of detection. Su Xiangwen played a big part in Jiang Xinyu and the others being able to be alert before danger came. Moreover, Su Xiangwen was a nebula, and his strength was not at the bottom of the Heavenly Sword Bureau. Even the person in charge of monitoring Duan Ziki this evening might not be stronger than Su Xiangwen. Objectively speaking, Gu Jian's situation was more dangerous than Su Xiangwen's. After all, Gu Jian could no longer secretly monitor Duan Ziki. He went home and washed up, then lay on his bed with his head resting on his head. Although he had discovered signs of the demon's spies this time, he still did not know what the demons were up to. The only action the demons had revealed was to prevent Wang Lan from participating in the provincial martial arts tournament. He did not know if this was the demons' goal or if they just wanted to annoy Wang Lan. Unknowingly, he was in a daze. Suddenly, Wang Lan's phone vibrated. Wang Lan woke up and immediately opened his eyes. He quickly picked up the phone on the bedside table and glanced at it. It was Su Xiangwen. Hello, Xiangwen, what's up? Lan Zi, Duan Zi, Qi sneaked out of the house just now. You've been monitoring her since tonight? Didn't you say you wanted to buy a house? It's not that troublesome. I booked a room in an express hotel. It's 300 meters away, and I can monitor her. I just saw Duan Ziki leave the house suspiciously. Lan Zi, I want to follow her. Share your location with me. You must keep a distance of 300 meters. If something is wrong, retreat immediately. Understood. After hanging up the phone, Wang Lan hurriedly got up and dressed. At the same time, he called Su Shiyan. Hello. Su Shiyan's voice was a little out of breath when he answered the phone, but it was covered up in an instant. Brother Su, have the brothers who are monitoring Duan Ziki replied? No. Why? Do I feel like you're in a hurry? Not sleeping in the middle of the night? Don't worry. As long as Duan Ziki makes any moves, I will inform you immediately. Is there anything else? If there's nothing else, I'm hanging up. Brother Su, it looks like you weren't the first to inform me. I was the first to inform you. Let me tell you now. Duan Ziki sneaked out of the house just now. My friend is secretly following them. I plan to go there. What? Are you sure? Would I joke about that? What's wrong with Gu Jian? Why didn't you report that the target had left? Don't alert Gu Jian. I even suspect that they've been counter-monitored. Duan Ziki left in the middle of the night. She either ran away or met up with someone. Bring someone to pick me up. Okay. Bring your work phone with you. I can locate you at any time. Su Shiyan nimbly rolled out of bed. Wife, a cold and exquisite woman leaned against the headboard, hugging a snow-white pillow. She gloomily stared at Su Shiyan. How many times do you owe me? 10 times? Say it again. 20 times. Go. If you don't pay me back next week, don't even think about leaving the house. My wife is so righteous. As he spoke, he hurriedly opened the wardrobe and quickly got dressed. He dialed a number. Luozi, call the brothers. Locate my location and come over. Remember, this is the Dark Knight Operations Division's first operation. Stay alert. Understood. Wang Lan drove the wild off-road vehicle, roaring out of the underground garage and speeding into the distance. In just 12 minutes, he arrived at the old district. He jumped out of the car, clicked on Su Xiangwen's profile picture on Penguin, and looked at the location that Su Xiangwen had shared with him. Xiangwen, where are you now? Here. Su Xiangwen came out from behind a stone pillar in the mall and strode to Wang Lan's side. Duan Ziki had just gone to Jaeger Garden, and he was still wandering around the neighborhood. Let's go and take a look. On the other side, Su Shiyun also drove quickly toward Wang Lan's coordinates. Frowning, Su Shiyun still turned on the car phone. Hello, Captain Su, what's your order? Are you still monitoring the target? Yes. Everything is normal. Everything is normal? What is the target doing? The target is reading under the desk lamp. He does this every day. He comes back from training at 11 o'clock, then studies under the lamp, and goes to sleep at 1 o'clock. Got it. Keep a close watch. Understood. After hanging up the phone, Su Shiyun's face was extremely gloomy. He knew that Wang Lan would not joke about serious matters. If Wang Lan said that Duan Ziki had gone out, he must have gone out in disguise. However, the brothers under him who were responsible for monitoring did not know anything. Everything was normal. Was it because his brothers were too weak in this aspect, or was it because Wang Lan's friends were too good? Wait, why would Wang Lan think of asking his friends to monitor him? Did he not trust his brothers? It was inevitable that Su Shiyun's imagination began to run wild. Wang Lan and Su Xiangwen arrived at an area without cameras outside the Jaeger Gardens community. Duan Ziki turned to the east gate and entered the property management room. If it's the property management room, the property management has cameras in the entire community. We need to avoid the positions of all the cameras as we approach, Su Xiangwen said solemnly. You stay here and broadcast the location of the cameras for me. Later, my colleagues will come back to pick us up. You stay here to pick up my colleagues. Are you okay? Don't you know my strength? Su Xiangwen imagined the scene of Wang Lan in his phoenix form blowing up the nebulous Spider Emperor with one punch. Yes, there was indeed nothing to worry about. Wang Lan gently patted Su Xiangwen's shoulder and jumped into the community in a flash. There are 5 cameras in front of you. The upper left corner, 3 meters away from the outer wall of Building 15, one on the opposite street lamp, one in the canopy. Su Xiangwen's voice sounded in the headset. Wang Lan instantly found the positions of the 5 cameras. Speaking of which, Wang Lan now also had a Takashi Hoshii technique, but even though they were both eyes, the difference was very big. Wang Lan's eyes were only used for dynamic visual capture and long-distance target locking. Although it was called zooming in, it was actually just a manifestation of the brain. In the end, it was still locking. In addition to long-range vision and X-ray vision, Su Xiangwen's eyes should also have the ability to categorize and lock. Otherwise, how could the cameras hidden in the canopy find them so accurately and quickly? There are all kinds of strange senses in this world, so there were many Takashi Hoshii skills and bloodline talents that were suitable for the eyes. In Su Xiangwen's heavens, I was undoubtedly a very powerful ability among the many eye techniques. Under Su Xiangwen's all-encompassing elimination of danger, Wang Lan quietly sneaked into the property management office wall where Duan Ziki had entered. Do you know how important the provincial martial art competition is to me? If I can't participate in the provincial martial arts competition, I can't enter the 4 great academies. If I can't enter the 4 great academies, the value of you nurturing me will no longer exist. Isn't it our common goal to let me gain a foothold in the human race? Why are you stopping me? Just as he stuck to the corner of the wall, Duan Ziki's roar came from inside. After Duan Ziki's roar ended, a slightly hoarse neutral voice came from inside. You shouldn't have come. This is the 3rd time you've said this. But I need an explanation. If you don't give me an explanation, we'll fight to the death. Fight to the death. The other party suddenly asked jokingly. Why would you fight to the death? Did you forget something? If it weren't for my god race, you would be nothing. You're just an orphan. You were abandoned by your parents at the entrance of the orphanage like trash. Even if you awaken the Takashi Hoshii innate talent at 8 years old, you're still nothing. You used 6 years to climb from early-stage Star Realm to mid-stage Star Realm. Without my nurturing, you wouldn't be the Duan Ziki you are today. Fight to the death. You're just a dog I've raised, and you're not the only one. If you don't listen, I don't mind changing. The cold aura made the hair on Duan Ziki's back stand on end. Fear flashed in the depths of her eyes. Seeing Duan Ziki's fear, the other party's eyes showed satisfaction. I've told you before that you're a person with unlimited potential. But potential is just potential. Before you turn potential into strength, you don't have the qualifications or the ability to resist me. Duan Ziki didn't speak, but despair was written all over her silent face. I've had enough of struggling at the bottom. If I can't get into the 4 great academies, I'd rather die. Don't worry, you'll definitely be able to get into the 4 great academies. I can even get you a guaranteed spot, but you have to be obedient. This is the reason why you don't want me to defeat Wang Lan. The instructions you gave me before were to start preventing Wang Lan from participating in the provincial tournament. No, I don't want you to defeat Wang Lan for your safety. Your stupid plan not only failed to achieve its goal, it also successfully alerted the Heavenly Sword Bureau. If you reveal that you want to kill Wang Lan again, you'll be completely exposed. My 5 years of hard work will go down the drain. Do you understand? Although you're not obedient at times, I can't bear to destroy you unless it's absolutely necessary. You think I can't beat Wang Lan? That I might even be killed by him? Of course you can't beat Wang Lan, because more than one of the Protoss elite clansmen have died at Wang Lan's hands. Also, I really didn't expect you to use such a stupid method of framing Wang Lan. Wang Lan is a redcoat captain of the Heavenly Sword Bureau. Your framing is pointless, and you're walking right into a trap. Duan Ziki subconsciously let out a cry of surprise, her eyes widening in disbelief. He could accept that Wang Lan was a little better than him, but he couldn't accept that Wang Lan was much better than him. And from what he heard from his superiors, even 10 of him combined couldn't compare to Wang Lan. How could Duan Ziki accept this? Impossible, right? Wang Lan he's star-blazing. A person's strength isn't just strength. If strength alone could be used to determine the strong and the weak, the Protoss would have already unified all the worlds. At the same time, outside Jägergarten, 7 or 8 cars screeched to a halt at the entrance of the community. Wang Lan. Along the way, Su Shiyun made several calls, but none were connected. This gave Su Shiyun a bad feeling. The only good thing was that Wang Lan's location was still clearly displayed here. Don't move. There's a camera here, Su Xiangwen suddenly exclaimed. Who's there? In an instant, several terrifying auras pressed down on Su Xiangwen. Beep, beep, beep. The urgent alarm also sounded in the property office. Chapter 195. In an instant, the woman's expression changed drastically. The Heavenly Sword Bureau is here? You've been under surveillance? You actually brought the people of the Heavenly Sword Bureau here? I didn't. Duan Ziki panicked, but he knew that he was being watched. It was just that he had never reported this to his superiors. He knew that if he reported this, he would be dealt with as a potential threat. You deserve to die. Outside the wall, Wang Lan instantly activated his phoenix form. Boom! With a loud bang, the wall shattered, and Wang Lan's figure appeared in the room, as if he had stepped through space. It was also at this moment that the woman's hand transformed into a strange blood blade and slashed at Duan Ziki's throat. Duan Ziki's strength was only at the nebula level. In the face of an attack from a galaxy-grade elite demons, he didn't even have time to react, let alone resist. Clang! The flaming ghost weep clashed with the demon's blood blade. A terrifying hurricane suddenly exploded, and all the furniture in the room was annihilated by the terrifying aftershock. The powerful shock wave sent Duan Ziki flying backward and slamming into the wall behind him. The concrete wall was cracked like a canyon, and Duan Ziki hung on the wall like a statue. He spat out a mouthful of blood, and his face was full of horror. Wang Lan's body exuded a blood-colored mist that danced like flames. It was as if he was wrapped in a red lotus, and the terrifying pressure turned into a fierce gale. Although it looked hazy, his face was clear. Duan Ziki recognized Wang Lan's identity at a glance, and his eyes suddenly widened. In his mind, he suddenly recalled what Viper had said. A mere starlight? More than one elite demons had died at Wang Lan's hands. Was this the real Wang Lan? The talent that I am so proud of, the strength that I am so proud of. What are they in front of Wang Lan? A mere starlight? But at this moment, the strength that Wang Lan displayed made him as terrifying as a solid abyss. Boom! The two figures quickly retreated. Wang Lan stood in front of Duan Ziki and stared straight at the elite demons in front of him. The elite demon's body quickly transformed, and in the blink of an eye, they turned into a monster standing upright. They had the head of a snake, the body of a high-level demon's, and a pair of bat wings on their back. This demon's appearance challenged Wang Lan's understanding of biological evolution. He even began to suspect that the so-called demons were creatures from the 2D world that broke through the dimensional wall and came out of the 2D world. Wang Lan, you are indeed our biggest obstacle. We should have killed you sooner. It's not too late for you to kill me now. As soon as he said that, Wang Lan's body turned into a stream of light and rushed towards Viper. The flaming blade turned into a streak of purple lightning, yet there was nothing in its path. So fast, Wang Lan's heart skipped a beat. He hurriedly activated his dynamic vision to capture everything around him. A black shadow flashed behind his head, and the golden light of his right eye instantly locked onto it. After activating the Phoenix form, his reaction speed was more than 10 times faster than before, and the power of the flaming blade had reached the terrifying power of the galaxy grade. When the opponent's sneak attack reached his back, Luo Yunyang slashed his blade at Viper's throat. Viper's speed exceeded Wang Lan's imagination. Even after activating the Phoenix form, Wang Lan's dynamic vision could not capture him. This slash had been a fluke, but Wang Lan had made the right bet. In Viper's eyes, Wang Lan was actually able to keep up with his speed and counterattack. This was terrifying. As for Wang Lan, Viper had done his homework in detail. Because of this person, the Divine Race's undercover team in Sioux City had suffered terrible losses. At first, they had thought that Wang Lan was just lucky and not strong enough. They had even considered assassinating him directly. However, the elite team formed by 3 elites had been completely wiped out. Wang Lan had single-handedly killed the leader of the elite team. This had made the demons reevaluate Wang Lan's strength. Although Viper was an elite team of the demons, they specialized in speed. It was like the difference between a motorcycle and an off-road vehicle. Although they could both speed up, they might be more agile. However, if they really collided, the motorcycle would definitely be smashed to pieces. However, during the exchange just now, Wang Lan's speed was not inferior to his. Therefore, Wang Lan's strength was obviously above his. As soon as he thought this, Viper rushed out of the window with a swoosh. He spread his wings and rushed into the night sky. This scene stunned Wang Lan, and even more so Duan Ziki. In Duan Ziki's impression, the terrifying Viper, who was as strong as a top human expert, had actually fled. However, the shock did not last long. Wang Lan's figure rushed out of the hole that had been created by the collision. In the sky, Viper rushed into the starry sky like a rock spreading its wings for 90,000 miles. In an era where flying Takashi Hoshi was rare, being able to fly was an unparalleled advantage. The wings behind him flapped desperately. Wang Lan instantly activated his dynamic vision. The Viper in the night sky was locked on by the dynamic vision. This kind of locking was not like looking through the line of sight, but projecting into reality. The frantically fleeing Viper clearly felt that there was an invisible rope behind him that was desperately pulling him. Wang Lan raised his hand, and flames surged around his body. A pair of phoenix-colored wings suddenly spread out in a phoenix cry. The shadow of a phoenix completely appeared on Wang Lan's back. Facing the sky, he raised his finger. Swoosh! An arrow that looked like an Anubis spear rushed out of Wang Lan's fingertip. In the sky, Viper's face instantly showed a look of horror. A strong sense of crisis hit his heart. He hurriedly turned his head to look behind him. An arrow with a terrifying killing intent had already attacked him from behind. At this moment, Viper suddenly had a trace of understanding. It was a despairing understanding. He should not have run, and he should not have run into the sky. Wang Lan's strength might be stronger than his, but there was still hope for him to escape. There were so many buildings on the ground that could be used as shelter. There were so many bushes, ponds, and obstacles that could provide cover for him. How stupid was he to think of running into the sky? Even if he went underground, it would be better than going up. Flying in the sky, with a wide field of vision, and Wang Lan was an archer. Damn it, was he sending himself to be a target? But at this moment, all regret was too late. The moment of understanding was also the moment Viper was hit by the purple flame arrow. Even the Heavenly Sword Bureau, which was 20 kilometers away, could sense the terrifying might of the cloud-piercing arrow that was shot out of the purple flame arrow. Boom! A silver light wave flashed across the sky, and the airwaves rippled in all directions. In an instant, a gorgeous firework bloomed hundreds of meters in the sky. The fireworks were gorgeous, and the night sky of the entire ancient city was covered in a gorgeous color. The battle seemed to have lasted for a long time, but it was actually only a few seconds. Su Shiyun and a group of brothers only had time to reach the Yage district. They saw Wang Lan standing alone at the end of the street, with the shadow of a phoenix behind him looking up at the moon. An arrow rushed into the clouds. In the dark night, nothing could be seen clearly. Then a firework bloomed, dazzling the entire night. Leapfrogged execution. Reward: 3,000 EXP, 50 SP. Eliminated high-level demon spy. Reward: 8,000 EXP, 500 SP. Su Shiyun and the rest of the Dark Knight Operations team stopped in their tracks. The members of the Dark Knight Operations team were all wearing black cloaks and masks. So even though they were stunned, their posture of looking up at the sky was full of mystery. Su Shiyun took off his mask and slowly walked behind Wang Lan. "It's over? You're done? Brother Su, that firework just now, was it nice? What was that just now?" Duan Ziki's online, an elite demon spy. He was very fast and very strong. If we really fought, I didn't have the slightest confidence. And then, I set off a firework with an arrow, and he died. Su Shiyun felt a slight pain in his heart. He felt that Wang Lan's words and logic were very problematic. Well, a very strong demon spy, and you didn't have the slightest confidence in fighting, and then you killed him with an arrow. From your tone, I can't tell that he's very strong at all. Duan Ziki is inside. If he's not dead yet, Duan Ziki might not be under any restrictions. Su Shiyun waved his hand lightly. "Take him away." Wang Lan turned around and looked at Su Shiyun's clothes and the few mysterious brothers behind him who were wearing cloaks and masks. "Dark Knight Operations team, you've been poached." "I wasn't poached, but a double job with double pay." "Forget it. Let's not talk about this anymore. Let's go back and report." "Captain." Suddenly, two figures ran over from afar. When they got closer, Su Shiyun's face suddenly darkened. "Gu Jian, you're here." "Captain, we made a mistake." Duan Ziki was lost. "Lost? How did you lose him?" "He used the silhouette technology and cut a string of figures. Then, he simulated sitting in front of a desk lamp and reading a book. He did this every day before, so we didn't suspect anything. Today, the lights suddenly went off at 1:30, and before that, his shadow was still reading in front of the desk lamp. That's why we realized what you meant when you called to ask about the situation. Good for you. You only realized it now, right? Go back and write a self-reflection for me." Su Shiyun snorted coldly and dragged Duan Ziki into the car. Suddenly, Su Shiyun turned around and looked at Su Xianwen in the front seat. "Kid, I know you. Wang Lan's good brother, Su Xianwen." "Hello, sir. Don't call me that. You're Wang Lan's brother, so you should call me Brother Su too. You're very talented in reconnaissance. Others can only speculate from various signs, but you can directly see what the target is doing. Talent is not worth mentioning. Are you interested in joining the Heavenly Sword Bureau? Hearing Su Shiryun's words, Su Xiangwen was slightly stunned, but instantly, a happy smile appeared on his face. I'm willing. Brother Su, can you make an exception for me to join? You're talented in reconnaissance, so it's not a problem to make an exception for you. Just like Wang Lan, he just became a Takashi Hoshi last year, but he was able to join the Heavenly Sword Bureau directly. The Heavenly Sword Bureau doesn't look at experience, it only looks at ability. Okay. I'll write you a recommendation letter. It's best if Wang Lan can write one as well. 2 red specters should be enough. Let's make a deal. After joining the Heavenly Sword Bureau, you'll belong to me. Wait, Wang Lan suddenly interrupted. Brother Su, Xiangwen still needs to go to university. We'll talk about his belonging after he finishes university. It's still 4 years. That's true. There are only a few months left before you go to university. Duan Ziki sneaked out for the first time, and you can't wait to catch him? Can't you secretly follow him? Then secretly monitor his superior? Then follow the vine to the melon, and continue to expand the results of the battle? Hey, a phone. Don't blame them first. They were the ones who dug up this clue. To be able to follow up on a murder case to this point, they must have done a lot of forbearance and tracking. If they weren't forced, I don't think they would have caught him. Lu Zhao hurriedly tried to persuade him. Su Shiryun, tell me what's going on. Yes. Su Shiryun hurriedly saluted. Director, Duan Ziki sneaked out tonight. It wasn't our brothers who followed him. It was Wang Lan's classmate, Su Xiangwen. Su Xiangwen called Wang Lan, and Wang Lan decided to investigate personally before calling me. I didn't go to catch him, but to support Wang Lan, just in case. If Wang Lan could retreat safely, we would have quietly retreated. However, we didn't expect the other party to be so vigilant. The other party hid his identity as the property manager of Yage Garden, and he had the entire Yage Garden surveillance system monitoring the surroundings. When we arrived at Yage Garden, we were exposed. The target was vigilant, and Wang Lan had no choice but to take action. The other party is an elite spy of the demons, and his strength should be at the Galaxy Realm. If it wasn't for Wang Lan, I'm afraid we wouldn't have been able to catch him. That's still a mistake. Although Wang Qianfeng shouted like this, his tone wasn't as unyielding as before. Wang Qianfeng was in a good mood to be able to capture a high-level spy of the demons. However, Wang Qianfeng was a little unwilling to just capture a spy. Even if he couldn't pull out the radish and bring out the mud like he did during the New Year, he should at least dig out the entire spy team like he did the first time, right? If Su Shiryun knew of Wang Qianfeng's thoughts, Su Shiryun would definitely comment. Wang Chu, you've always been worried that Wang Lan would become arrogant, but you're the one who's the most arrogant. If it was any other city, even catching a small fry of the demons would be enough to make them happy for half a day, and they would even be able to ask for credit from the organization over and over again. You, on the other hand, aren't satisfied after killing an elite of the demons? You want the entire elite team of the demons? You want the same results as you did during the New Year? If you want the same results as you did during the New Year, all the spies of the demons in the world would be wiped out in less than 3 years. Wang Chu, where's your rationality? Can't you be more realistic? A Feng, Ming Shui, interrogate Duan Ziki as soon as possible. You must get the information as soon as possible. Yes. In the interrogation room of the Heavenly Sword Bureau, Duan Ziki was restrained in a chair with an expressionless face. His eyes swept across Zhang Yeqiu and Zhang Xiaoxue in front of him. He didn't seem to be aware of his situation and was carefully distinguishing the differences between the twins' beautiful faces. Although a discerning person could see the difference between the two at a glance, it was a difference in temperament, not appearance. Duan Ziki, when did you start to side with the demons? When? Let me think. About 5 or 6 years ago. At that time, I think I just finished the 1st grade. Yes, at that time. Why did you betray the human race? Betray? Did I swear an oath to serve the human race? You're a human. Do you still need to swear an oath? Why do you only say that I'm your compatriot when you need me and when you blame me? When I needed compatriots, when I needed a country, where were you? When I was hungry, where were you? When I was bullied by my compatriots, who came to tell them that we're compatriots? When I was 8 years old, I awakened the Takashi Hoshi talent. I was so awesome and amazing. However, I didn't receive any training, and I didn't enjoy the benefits that I should have. For 5 whole years, I was in the same place. It was Viper who gave me the opportunity to grow. I worked for him, and he paid me. It's that simple. Even now, you still don't repent? It seems that you're really hopeless. Zhang Yechio sighed and shook his head. You say it as if I'm crying and repentant now. Crying and saying that I'm sorry can be forgiven. Every time I see the sentencing of criminals on the TV news, I feel disgusted. One by one, they cry and shout that they're repenting. Repent of my ass. Those who repent wouldn't have done it before. Since they've done it, they'll be executed. Then you'll be the next one. I'm glad to see that you have such a backbone. In that case, wait, Duan Ziki suddenly shouted. Don't be the disgusting person you said. Since you have such a backbone, please be tough to the end. Zhang Xiaoxue crossed her arms and shouted coldly. I have the information that you want. What information? If you promise to let me go and not pursue the matter, I'll tell you the information I know. My information is very valuable. Once the demons succeed, the whole Jade State will be turned upside down. I can leave Jade State and promise that I'll never set foot in Jade State again in my life. You're dreaming. My information is worth this bargaining chip. Zhang Xiaoxue, who had been silent, suddenly raised her hand and snapped her fingers. It's a waste of time to ask you. Major Wu, please. The side door opened and Wu Chao, in a black military uniform, walked in. Duan Ziki quickly looked over. The moment she saw Wu Chao, Duan Ziki felt a sense of fear. Wu Chao looked elegant and wore a pair of gold-rimmed glasses. However, in Duan Ziki's eyes, he was the image of a proper scum. Especially after spending years with poisonous snakes, Duan Ziki had an illusion that this person would tear off his disguise and turn into a poisonous snake in the next moment. You? What are you doing? Duan Ziki struggled violently as Wu Chao slowly approached her. However, her astral power was sealed and her limbs were restricted. She could only watch in horror as Wu Chao stretched out his hand and covered her forehead like a devil's palm. Wang Lan curiously turned his head to look through the one-way glass next door. Su Shiyin crossed his arms and smiled coldly. Spiritual imprint is a way to use pure spiritual power. You can imprint memories, Takashi Hoshi skills, and so on. Under spiritual imprint, as long as you have it in your mind, you can imprint it intact. However, the side effect is that it will cause certain damage to the brain. There's no need to be long-winded with this kind of scum. Just finish it with spiritual imprint. Spiritual imprint? Wang Lan suddenly recalled the memory of Wang Qianfeng and he Mingxue placing their fingers between his eyebrows and imprinting Takashi Hoshi skills in his mind. Spiritual imprint is a compulsory course in college. If you can imprint Takashi Hoshi skills in your mind into someone else's mind, you can get a graduation certificate. Of course, if you want to continue your studies, you can imprint other people's memories and record them with a soul bead like Major Wu. However, this is already a high-level use of spiritual imprint and requires a certain amount of talent. While they were talking, Duan Ziki next door had already started wailing like ghosts and howling like wolves. Star power surged around Wu Chao's body as he pressed Duan Ziki's head with one hand and held an elementary soul bead with the other. Star power revolved in the soul bead. When Wu Chao moved his hand away from Duan Ziki's head, the word seal appeared on the soul bead in Wu Chao's hand. Spiritual imprint is complete. Hand it over to the evidence department for filing, Wu Chao said as he picked up a towel and wiped his hands. Let's go and report to the chief. In the next room, Lu Zhao, Wang Qianfeng, and the others were sitting on the sofa and watching the interrogation in the next room. The door opened quickly. Wu Chao entered and saluted Lu Zhao. Chief, Duan Ziki indeed has a lot of information. The most important piece of information is that the demons are planning to assassinate Di Lao. Chapter 197. What? Assassinate Di Lao? Hearing this sudden and terrifying information, Lu Zhao's expression was neither angry nor shocked. Instead, he was at a loss of what to do. Wu Chao, are you sure it's an assassination attempt on Di Lao and not a joke? This is indeed what we got from Duan Ziqi's memories. Of course, we can't rule out the possibility that Duan Ziqi is just a peripheral member of the demon spy group, and the information he got is fake. However, this information was obtained by his own investigation and not by the demon spies. Director, you don't seem to believe it? Wang Xianfeng looked at Lu Zhao doubtfully. Since the demons don't want Wang Lan to participate in the provincial martial competition, Duan Ziqi's information might be true. After all, we just got the news that Di Lao will be at the provincial martial competition's finals personally. It's entirely possible that they took advantage of Di Lao's visit to provincial martial competition to assassinate him. Di Lao has always been in Shanghai. Why didn't he get assassinated in Shanghai? If the demons wanted to assassinate Di Lao, why did they have to wait until Di Lao left Shanghai before taking action? Isn't that because the demons don't have the ability? He Mingxue smiled disdainfully. Di Lao is impregnable in Shanghai. Even if the demons wanted to assassinate Di Lao, they would have to have the ability to do so. Could it be that Di Lao isn't impregnable when he comes to provincial martial competition? Why would the demons dare to assassinate Di Lao? Lu Zhao laughed coldly as he knocked on the table. Firstly, Di Lao will be at the provincial martial competition's finals personally. However, the host city hasn't been confirmed yet. It's most likely Yin City. If that's the case, why is he jumping around in Sioux City? Secondly, I don't believe that the demons would be able to organize an assassination attempt on Di Lao after suffering setbacks in Sioux City for the past year. If they had the ability, the Heavenly Sword Bureau would have been slaughtered by them long ago. Wu Chao, do you have any other information besides this? Yes, according to Duan Ziqi's knowledge, he and his boss, Viper, are indeed an independent team. There are teams like them all over the country. Speaking of this, Wu Chao's face became extremely ugly. This plan was carried out 12 years ago. It was called infiltration. It was the demons who discovered the children of Jade State who were born at the bottom of society but had good talents and brainwashed them. When they grow up, they will enter the Jade State and work as the parasites to disintegrate the Jade State. Infiltration, breaking through from the inside, to achieve the result of defeating the target. Duan Ziqi was discovered by his superior, Viper, 5 years ago. All these years, Viper and Duan Ziqi have been in one-way contact, a plan that has been in operation for 12 years. This information made Lu Zhao's expression turn ugly. If the information about assassinating Di Lao seemed like a fantasy to Lu Zhao, then this infiltration plan would be a slow-acting poison. He snuck in silently, and by the time he was unearthed, it was already riddled with holes. How ruthless! Does Duan Ziqi know the names of the other members of the infiltration plan? He doesn't know. From Duan Ziqi's memory, I saw that the members of the infiltration plan are all independent. They have no contact with each other, so no one knows who is in charge. I'm afraid that the only name list is in the demon's headquarters. It's almost impossible to get the name list. This information must be reported to the Ministry of National Defense. The whole country must be strictly investigated. Is there anything else? There's one more. For the past 5 years, Duan Ziqi has been secretly investigating Viper. Maybe Viper hasn't brainwashed Duan Ziqi thoroughly enough. He has identified 12 traitors. On the surface, these people have their own careers, but they have been secretly sending information to the demons. I have engraved the identities of these 12 traitors. That's good. Strike while the iron is hot. Let's kill these 12 traitors now. Su Shiyun said with an excited smile. Although he had been verbally criticized for his rash actions previously, the situation at that time could not be blamed on Su Shiyun, right? Furthermore, even though he had inadvertently alerted the enemy and did not maximize the results of the battle, he had still managed to dig out so much information from Duan Ziqi. This was enough for Su Shiyun to record this in his book of contributions. This time, The greatest credit was still Wang Lan, but Su Shiyan had also participated from the beginning to the end. He had not been a bystander. Wei thought about how he would soon change into a black military uniform and wear a colonel's epaulet. The corners of his mouth subconsciously cracked open. Su Shiyan, why are you cracking open your mouth like a ladle? Are you happy? You don't care about anything after seeing the credit? Wang Qianfeng could not help but shout. Wang Lan, what do you think? The first piece of information, the assassination of Di Lao, I think it might be true. Wang Lan frowned and said hesitantly, Oh, what do you think? Lu Zhao frowned and asked solemnly. It was not that Lu Zhao did not agree with Wang Lan, but that he valued it. Originally, Lu Zhao did not care about the information that the demons wanted to assassinate Di Lao. To put it bluntly, when did the demons not want to assassinate Di Lao? Not to mention Di Lao, the demons probably dreamed of stewing the 5 elders together. However, the 5 elders stood firmly at the peak of the Takashi Hoshi world in Jade State. They were like 5 monuments that illuminated the progress of the Jade State's Takashi Hoshi. For decades, the demons had not harmed them at all. Lu Zhao did not believe that the demons wanted to assassinate Di Lao. He did not believe that the demons had the ability to assassinate Di Lao. However, when he heard Wang Lan's words, Lu Zhao's expression suddenly became somewhat solemn. Director, division heads, do you remember the bank robbery we encountered at the beginning of February? Wang Lan's words immediately made Lu Zhao's expression change drastically. Wang Mingling, Director, I really can't think of a reason why such a dangerous person like Wang Mingling would suddenly return to Jade State. If he returned, he would face the encirclement of the Jade State. If he did not have a purpose, he would not come for a vacation. Moreover, to be able to hire an assassin like Wang Mingling, he must be at least a country's important political figure, right? Di Lao seems to fit this condition. The office became abnormally silent. After a long time, Lu Zhao exhaled a long breath of smoke. Although there is no evidence to prove that Wang Mingling is colluding with the demons, your speculation is very likely. Although Wang Mingling showed his traces in Sioux City, he might not have returned to Sioux City. He might have returned to Jiang Province. There are not many people in Jiang Province who are worthy of Wang Mingling's attention. Is there anything else? Wang Qianfeng asked again. There are also the 12 traitors. Wang Lan's fingers twitched slightly. Viper and Duan Ziki's mission was to infiltrate the enemy. From this, we can infer that even if Viper has a mission to gather intelligence, he will not do it all by himself. He can't receive intelligence from the 12 traitors alone. Can he? There might be a spy team behind him. Well, it's very possible. The 12 traitors deserve to die, but the demon spy behind them is the most important. Viper was killed because Duan Ziki was exposed. I think the demons will not give up on the 12 traitors. After a while, the demons will definitely come to take over Viper's legacy and contact the traitors again. A phone, Wang Lan's idea is very much in line with your usual style, Lu Zhao said with a chuckle. We are in the intelligence business to maximize the benefits of the information. All right, everyone has been busy all night. Keep Duan Ziki under strict surveillance. Everyone should go back and rest. Everyone is tired. Yes, it was already 4 o'clock in the morning when they left the Heavenly Sword Bureau. It was the beginning of April, so the sky was still very dark at 4 o'clock. Wang Lan and Su Xiangwen walked out of the Heavenly Sword Bureau together. On the way back, Su Xiangwen was in a state of excitement. Did the director talk to you? Yes. The country is strong when you are young. The country is wise when you are young. The country is wise when you are young. The country is young and heroic. I hope you will live up to the expectations of the country and become a pillar of the country. Looking at Su Xiangwen's excited expression, Wang Lan's mouth could not help but twitch. The director is the best at injecting chicken blood. That's why you're so eager to sacrifice your life for the country when he gave you a non-staff position. Do you know how to speak human language? So what if I'm a temporary worker? It depends on who I'm working for. Besides, who didn't become a permanent worker from a non-staff position? When I graduate from university, I could become a permanent worker. I'm not, Wang Lan said in his heart. He did not intend to agitate the poor child any further. After being sent home, he took a shower and went to sleep. The city selection had ended. The official provincial martial arts competition would be held on May 15th. This semester seemed to be a little short. School started in February. The provincial martial arts competition would be held on May 15th. After that, the college entrance examination would be held on June 5th, 6th, and 7th. He slept very soundly. If not for a phone call, Wang Lan did not know how long he would have slept. After being woken up, Wang Lan's head was a little dizzy. He opened his eyes in a daze and looked at the caller ID. He was instantly energized. Hello, Wang Chu. Come to the bureau now. Huh? Did something happen? Beep, beep. Why did he hang up in such a hurry? At this time, Wang Lan noticed that it was already 2 in the morning. In other words, Wang Lan had slept for 22 hours. Without any hesitation, Wang Lan quickly sat up, put on his clothes, washed up, and drove the SUV out of the underground garage to the Heavenly Sword Bureau. When he arrived at the Heavenly Sword Bureau, Wang Lan immediately felt that the atmosphere in the Heavenly Sword Bureau was not right. At the entrance of the Heavenly Sword Bureau, there were 2 rows of masked men from the Dark Knight Operations Department in black. They were lined up in a row. Although he could not see their expressions, he could feel the hostility from their cold eyes. After parking the car, an SUV rushed over and stopped in the parking space next to Wang Lan with a beautiful drift. Su Shiyin got out of the car with a serious expression. When he saw Wang Lan, he nodded gloomily. Brother Su, what happened? Something's wrong with this situation. Could it be that the demons attacked the Heavenly Sword Bureau? I don't know, but it's definitely not a small matter. The 2 of them walked into the Heavenly Sword Bureau side by side. Every floor was guarded by men from the Dark Knight Operations Department. This situation made Wang Lan and Su Shiyin's heart skip a beat. They went up to the 5th floor and passed by the guard from the Dark Knight Operations Department. The guards from the Dark Knight Operations Department were like statues. Although they were emitting a strong aura, they did not stop Wang Lan and Su Shiyin. There was no interrogation or interrogation. Su Shiyin's face was serious as he tried to guess what had happened. Da-da-da. Report. Come in. After opening the door, Lu Zhao and the others were sitting in Wang Qianfeng's office. You're here? Wang Qianfeng looked up at Wang Lan and Su Shiyin and said in a low voice, just half an hour ago, Duan Ziki was killed. Chapter 198. Silenced? Where's she sent to? Silenced? Su Shiyin asked subconsciously. As for being silenced in the Heavenly Sword Bureau, Su Shiyin didn't even dare to think about it. In the Heavenly Sword Bureau, where the security was so tight, how could she be silenced? Wang Lan instantly thought of the situation of the guards in the Heavenly Sword Bureau today, and his heart suddenly thumped. She wasn't sent anywhere. She's in the Heavenly Sword Bureau. With that, Wang Qianfeng turned on the television in front of him. On the screen was the cell Duan Ziki was in. Outside the cell, 3 brothers were patrolling outside, and Duan Ziki was hugging her legs and squatting in the corner of the cell. Suddenly, the image changed, and the image on the screen changed to that of an infrared detector. The murderer turned off the power, and the backup power will be activated 5 seconds after the power is cut off. During this time, the backup power of the camera will activate the infrared sensor. As Wang Qianfeng explained, a figure appeared on the screen. The figure was extremely fast and appeared in an instant. His hands crossed, and he chopped off the head of one of the brothers. Then, he instantly killed the other 2 brothers. The time on the camera flashed quickly, and in an instant, the 3 brothers were killed on the spot. At this moment, 4 seconds had passed on the camera's image. At the last second, the murderer threw the knife in his hand at Duan Ziki. The power was reactivated, and the image became clear again. However, the moment the image lit up, there were only the bodies of the 3 brothers on the ground. The murderer had long disappeared. A mole. It's definitely a mole. Su Shiyin's face was ashen as he shouted in a low voice. Ever since Chang Yu suddenly received the alarm call last time, We suspected that there was a mole lurking in our ranks. We've investigated many times internally, but we still haven't found it. This is the result of being careless. Lu Zhao gently slammed the table and said indifferently, Director General, it's a good thing that we used the spiritual imprint on Duan Ziki in time. Duan Ziki doesn't have any background to dig up. It's not a big loss for us, but for the demons, they might expose a demon spy. He Ming Xue quickly comforted. Do I need you to comfort me? Where's the result I want? What's the result of your preliminary investigation? He Ming Xue's face suddenly became a little gloomy. Chief, we are working hard to investigate. I believe we will have the results soon. Very soon? You think I don't know what you're capable of? If that mole hadn't done it so well, you wouldn't have been able to investigate twice without finding anyone suspicious. If you didn't discover it, it means that the mole really did it flawlessly. Even if they couldn't find anything now, the results would still be the same tomorrow and the day after. Now, the Heavenly Sword Bureau is panicking because of a mole. Other than these people on the battlefield, everyone else can't be ruled out. Although Duan Ziki doesn't have much value anymore, he was killed by a demon spy in the Heavenly Sword Bureau under heavy guard. I really can't take this lying down. That, Chief. Wang Lan suddenly took a step forward. Duan Ziki might have been worthless in the past, but now he might be valuable. He's dead. What's his value? Lu Zhao asked back. If the person who said this was not Wang Lan, Lu Zhao would have scolded him. After such a big thing happened last night, Lu Zhao's heart was full of anger. At this moment, he was like a barrel of gunpowder, the kind that would explode with a touch. Chief, sometimes the value of a dead person is greater than the value of a living person. Chief, leaders, who else saw the murderer's appearance? If someone saw it, why would we investigate? It's because the person who saw the murderer is dead that we have to investigate. He Ming Xue was also full of anger. He didn't dare to vent it on Lu Zhao or Wang Qianfeng. But why wouldn't he dare to vent it on Wang Lan? Where? 2 of our brothers' heads were chopped off. The demons might not believe that they're still alive. But I see that Duan Ziki's body is intact. It's possible that it's Duan Ziki. You mean to tell the outside world that Duan Ziki is still alive and lure the mole into the trap again? No, this stab was right in the heart. He can't be more dead. As long as the lie looks real, it can be passed off as real. Wang Lan, tell us in detail. What's your plan? First, I have to confirm whether the news of Duan Ziki's spiritual imprint is a secret. Is it possible that the mole knows about it? Duan Ziki's spiritual imprint is top secret. Unless one of the people interrogated yesterday is the mole shouldn't know about it. Then it's easy. Don't we have information on the 12 human traitors? These conditions can be used. Duan Ziki's heart was pierced and destroyed. Let's put it more seriously. Duan Ziki's heart was completely shattered. But Duan Ziki has a tenacious vitality and didn't die on the spot. And I'm still in the Heavenly Sword Bureau, right? You mean Duan Ziki wasn't dead when you arrived, so you used Takashi Hoshi's medical skill to save Duan Ziki? No. If that's the case, the mole definitely wouldn't dare to take the risk. Only when the information is unknown and both the good and the bad can happen at the same time will the mole decide to take the risk, Wang Lan said confidently. We have to give the mole a certain amount of time. It can't be too long or too short. 3 to 5 days would be best. Although we kept Duan Ziki alive, Duan Ziki's situation is very dangerous. Her heart was shattered and my medical skills can't reconstruct the organ. So, we need to clone a heart. I remember that the National Defense Hospital has related research, right? You want to set up the net in the National Defense Hospital? Why can't it be in the Heavenly Sword Bureau? He Ming Xue asked in confusion. Ming Xue, if it's in the Heavenly Sword Bureau, will the mole still dare to make a move? After making a move, just now, the Bureau will definitely be under martial law. For a short period of time. Even if the mole escapes, he won't dare to make a move again. If it's in the hospital, the mole might be more daring. In that case, we can arrange for the mole to be among the guards in the hospital. Lu Zhao reacted quickly and said quickly. But how do we urge the mole to make a move? That depends on Major Wu. While we're keeping Duan Ziki alive, We'll let Major Wu check Duan Ziki's memory. But because Duan Ziki's injury is too serious, and to ensure that his brain is not destroyed, he can only check a little every day. 12 human spies can be used as bait this time. We're not fishing for demon spies? Su Shiryun asked curiously. As soon as he finished speaking, he laughed. Compared to the demon spies, the mole hiding in the Heavenly Sword Bureau was the real deal. A phone. Ming Shui, do you have anything to add to Wang Lan's plan? Wang Qianfeng lowered his head and pondered for a long time. He looked up and shook his head. No, we can act according to the plan. I don't have anything either. I'll go down and make the arrangements. Wang Lan, from now on, you'll be sent to the National Defense Hospital. I'll help you apply for leave from school. That director prepares some soul orbs. We need to keep Duan Ziki alive 24/7. We can't have too few soul orbs. Okay, that's not a big problem. Wang Lan, even if the soul orbs are sent, they're still props and have to be recycled. Don't take it seriously. Wang Qianfeng stood up and warned him seriously. Wang Chu, do I look like that kind of person? Be more confident. Get rid of that image. Woo woo woo. Sirens pierced through the night sky. An ambulance mysteriously drove into the National Defense Hospital with more than a dozen black plate military vehicles clearing the way. Soon, the National Defense Hospital's inpatient department isolated a separate building. Outside the building, the Heavenly Sword Bureau was heavily guarded. At 10 o'clock in the morning, the Heavenly Sword Bureau's second wave of arrangements were in place. The Heavenly Sword Bureau's Action Division, Intelligence Division, and Dark Knight Law Enforcement Division's elite teams were on duty in 3 shifts to guard the small building. The National Defense Hospital suddenly became jittery. The patients who came to the hospital were curiously discussing. No matter how much they guessed, there was no conclusion. They just thought that there was an important person living in the hospital. Beside the flower bed outside the single ward, Ma Weidong and Li Gu stood together and took a deep puff of their cigarettes. What's this? I'm on a field mission. Why do they suddenly call me back? Ma Weidong said unhappily as he threw the cigarette holder into the special trash can in the smoking area. It can't be helped. There aren't many brothers in the bureau that can be used, Li Gu said softly as he pinched his collar with one hand. He raised his head and blew out a column of smoke. There aren't many that can be used? What do you mean? Is there an important mission? That's not right. Why didn't I know? You didn't hear about the mole in the bureau? No? I was just called back 2 hours ago. Is there such a thing? Ma Weidong's face was full of disbelief. The last time I was hospitalized for 7 days, I went on a field mission after I came out. I didn't return to Sioux City for 2 months. I came back the day before yesterday and just left yesterday. What mole? What's the situation? Li Ji's expression was slightly gloomy. Seeing Li Ji's expression, Ma Weidong hurriedly smiled. Forget it. I understand the discipline. It's okay. You've always been out of the bureau. You were screened as trustworthy. It's okay to tell you. The night before yesterday, we caught a traitor. Before we could interrogate him, he was killed last night. Oh, are you sure it's a brother in the bureau? To be able to kill someone in the heavily guarded bureau and know about the power supply, backup power supply, and so on, other than a brother in the bureau, there's no other possibility. Then what are we doing here? Investigating? No. Yesterday, the mole made a move and 3 of our brothers were killed. But that traitor was still alive. Damn it, why was that traitor still alive? Why are 3 of our brothers dead? Ma Weidong looked deeply at Li Gu. I say, Li Gu, why is your swearing so weird? You're a cultured person. Don't force yourself to learn from us uncouth people. You don't learn well, and you're disgusting. Hearing this, Li Ji's face suddenly became unnatural. Hey, don't misunderstand. I'm not saying that you're disgusting. It's just that you're not a man at all. But it's good that the traitor is still alive. You should be the only one who knows what the mole looks like. Yes, the mole's appearance will be dug out soon, right? How can it be that easy? A voice suddenly sounded. Su Shiryun was wearing a red uniform and strode over. Chapter 199. Captain Su come smoke. Ma Weidong took out a cigarette and passed it over. Weidong, you've been called back too. Isn't that right? I'm about to board the plane. I was so frustrated that I had to run around. Damn it, I was the one who dug this person out, and I was about to get the credit. Even the cooked duck has flown away. Didn't Lee Goose say that he's not dead? As long as he's not dead, the duck hasn't flown away. His heart was crushed, and you still think he's not dead. Dead? Ma Weidong looked at Su Shiyun in shock. Li Ji's expression changed drastically. He was about to speak when Su Shiyun took the initiative to puff out a column of smoke. Not yet. Ma Weidong was stunned, then laughed. Stop joking. You said that his heart was crushed. How could not be dead? Have you forgotten who saved your life the last time you were stabbed in the chest and back? Oh, Ma Weidong immediately nodded in understanding. That little brother Wang Lan. After I was discharged from the hospital, I wanted to thank that little brother, but I found out that his identity information was A rank. I couldn't even find him. Wang Lan's medical Takashi Hoshi is the best in the world, but the heart was crushed to a pulp. Even Wang Lan's medical Takashi Hoshi can't do anything about it. Fortunately, the National Defense Hospital has organ cloning technology. I hope that the traitor can hold on for a few days. When the heart is cloned, Wang Lan can still save him. The traitor deserves to die. Why save him? Is it a waste of food? Li Gu snorted in disdain. It can't be helped. Who told him to know the identity of the traitor? Small groups like Li Gu and Su Shiyun, who talked about the traitor and the traitor, spread like a virus. A day's time quietly passed. The moon was cool, and the wind was blowing in the shade of the high hill. The grass under their feet was lush, but the night was unexpectedly quiet. The insects went into hibernation, and the wind turned cold. A hand stretched out from the bottom of the hill, as if it was a ghost that had crawled out from its grave. What's going on? Why isn't Poison Stinger dead? The black shadow that emerged from the depths of the ground poked its head out and asked in a low voice. Who? A spark lit up. It turned out that the rock at the peak of the hill under the moonlight was just a motionless person. Is a poisonous stinger that important? Do you need me to take the risk of being exposed? If it wasn't for him, why would Viper be exposed? Viper had snuck into Jade State 50 years ago and had been diligently delivering information for the Empire. 50 years of hard work and meritorious service had actually been harmed by a poisonous thorn. Humans can't be trusted. The master who came up with the infiltration plan is definitely, in human terms, his head must have been crushed by a door. So, there's no need for Poison Stinger to silence him. The reason you asked me to help you is also a lie? Immediately, the voice from before became even lower, as if it was suppressing endless anger. Of course, at least he knows about the infiltration plan. Why didn't you plant a brain-eating worm in his brain? It's Viper's decision. The brain-eating worm will limit the growth of Poison Stinger's strength. This poisonous thorn is currently the best poison stinger. He can be trained to be the best and the deepest poison stinger. But now, Viper was shot to death by Wang Lan's arrow. The Black Shadow shouted coldly. But just knowing about the infiltration plan is not enough for me to take the risk. No, if you had succeeded in killing him, you wouldn't have been in danger. Your danger lies in why didn't you kill him? He's already dead. If he was already dead, you wouldn't be so angry and exasperated. If he was really dead, you wouldn't have asked for a meeting with me. I'm sure that he's dead, but I really don't know how they did it. Humans are too weak. They have too many vital points. Any one of them can be killed. My last stab had completely destroyed his heart. He should have been dead for sure. However, the Heavenly Sword Bureau has a very outstanding medical awakened Takashi Hoshi. This Takashi Hoshi is very strong. It's entirely possible that he could have saved Poison Stinger's life. Just today, I was personally in charge of escorting a batch of soul orbs to a special ward in the National Defense Hospital. The Heavenly Sword Bureau spent so much effort. It seems that they have made up their minds. They won't stop until they find me. What do you mean? I should leave. No, we need your cooperation for the next operation. If you leave, all our previous efforts will be in vain. You should know how terrible our deaths will be. No, you're the only one who will die a terrible death. You're the one who broke the rules and increased the risk of me being exposed. If I continue to stay, I might be exposed at any time. I have a reason to leave. Your reasons are so weak for the next part of the plan. That's a mission that must be completed even if it costs your life. The black shadow fell silent and took a deep puff of his cigarette. I can't be exposed, but now I might be exposed at any time. You have to be responsible for eliminating the risk of me being exposed. Can't you do it again? Since Poison Stinger is in the hospital, it's much easier for you to do it than in the Heavenly Sword Bureau. The Operations Division, the Intelligence Division, and the Shadow Operations Division work together to set up a defense. On the surface, it looks like it's to protect Poison Stinger's safety, but in reality, it's an internal investigation. If I do it, I'll be exposed immediately. I understand. I'll help you. As soon as possible, I'll make preparations to leave in the near future. If there's any tentative movement, I'll leave. That's my bottom line. Got it. The black shadow slowly dived into the depths of the ground and disappeared. Unknowingly, 2 days passed. Wang Lan had been quarantined for 2 days. If it weren't for the Heavenly Sword Bureau's request for leave for Wang Lan and Su Xiangwen, an outsider who knew some inside information, Wang Qi and Jiang Xinyu would probably have called the police. Another night came. Li Gu had just finished his shift and returned home. He wanted to freshen up and have a good night's sleep. Just as he arrived at the door, Li Gu suddenly paused. Ma Weidong appeared behind Li Gu without him noticing. Captain Li, Li Chu ordered us to gather and get ready for action. Okay. Li Gu didn't hesitate. He put away the key and turned to leave with Ma Weidong. The gathering point was near a street community in the park town. The car stopped. Li Gu and Ma Weidong got out and saw Li Weixin and a few familiar friends sitting outside an open-air milk tea shop in the community. Everyone's here. I'll give you the mission now. Li Weixin took out a few photos from his pocket. This person is called Huang Xiang. He's the instructor of the Takashi Hoshi Combat Club. He's been providing information to the demons for a long time and betraying the human race. Capture him alive. Yes. Li Chu, is this information from the Intelligence Division? They're so busy outside. How can the Intelligence Division be so efficient? One of the team members asked curiously. Don't ask what you shouldn't ask. Don't you know this bit of discipline? This is a clue dug up by Major Wu. Don't ask anything else. Yes. Move out. A human trader at the pinnacle of the Star Glory realm and 2 elites at the pinnacle of the Nebula realm were naturally easy to capture. Huang Xiang didn't even have time to resist before he was grabbed by Li Gu. Then, he put on a mask and was dragged out like a dead dog. Major Wu. I saw Major Wu go to the hospital when I changed shifts this morning. Isn't the hospital's policy to only let people in but not out? Where did he get the information? One of the brothers from the Operations Division complained. Don't ask what you shouldn't ask, Li Gu said coldly. Yes, brothers, we're just complaining. There's no need to be so serious, right? Recently, the Intelligence Division has been guarding against us like we're thieves. It's normal for brothers to complain. Everything is for the human race. If the mole isn't caught, the Intelligence Division won't let down its guard. What's there to complain about? As long as we have a clear conscience, how can the Intelligence Division investigate us? Although that's what you say, there's still some dissatisfaction in my heart. In the dead of night, at the top of the hill that looked like a mass grave, a terrifying ghost stretched out a hand from the ground. Ha! A military boot stomped down on his head. What are you doing? Why do you always appear in this way? I don't like it. Isn't it for the sake of safety? You're safe as long as you can see me. If it's not safe, how can I appear in front of you? Bastards, what have you been doing for the past 2 days? We're making arrangements for that plan. We're very busy. What's wrong with you today? Why are you so angry? Are you King forgetful? What did I tell you last time? You have to eliminate the hidden danger that I've been exposed. What are you doing? It's been 2 days. I could be exposed at any time. Oh, has the Heavenly Sword Bureau narrowed down the scope of suspicion? Poison Sting really isn't dead. Wu Chao has already started to read Poison Sting's memories. Today, he caught the spy I instigated from Wu Chao's memories. Bastard. Is that so? Looks like the operation has to be brought forward. I thought there were still 5 days. What do you mean? Recently, I've been handing over my mission to someone else. Handing over your mission to someone else? What do you mean? The one in the hospital is both your death warrant and bait for us. The Heavenly Sword Bureau is using an overt scheme. Either they find you or bait me out. Between you and me, one of us has to die. You." The black figure in military boots was stunned. He stared blankly at the annoying guy who still had a frivolous smile on his face. But at this moment, the black figure couldn't bring himself to hate this annoying face. "Autumn Cicada, you're right. You can't be exposed. Your value is far beyond cooperating with that plan. If I die, my mission can be handed over to another team. But if you're exposed, the plan won't be able to be carried out. Since only one of us can live, that person can only be you. I've pretty much handed over my work. Tomorrow, I'll attack the hospital. You should know how the hospital's defenses are distributed, right? How much power do you plan on using? An elite team and some cannon fodder. Impossible. An elite team can't even touch the threshold of the quarantine building. My goal isn't to take over the hospital. I just need to kill Poison Sting and remove the threat you pose." The black shadow chuckled. Then, like a paper boat sinking into the water, it slowly sank and disappeared. Chapter 200. It's already the fourth day. In the private ward, He Mingxue said calmly as he dealt a pair of 3 cards. "What's the rush? We're fishing. The most important thing is patience." A pair of 5. A pair of 10. Wang Lan played his cards silently. A pair of aces. He Mingxue was still a little frustrated. "I'm not impatient. When we're fishing for the mole, we're also sacrificing internal trust. Many of our brothers have risked their lives for the Bureau. We know in our hearts that they can be trusted, but we still guard against them like they're thieves. Our brothers are bitterly disappointed. Pass. In the face of national security, if we can't even bear this little grievance, are we still the elites of the Heavenly Sword Bureau? The interests of the country are above all else. The safety of the country is above all else." He Mingxue was about to continue playing his cards when suddenly there were hurried footsteps at the door. The 3 of them suddenly stopped. There was a knock on the door. Reporting, "The brothers outside the hospital have discovered something." "What's the situation?" "Near the small building, there are some patients who intentionally or unintentionally passed by. There weren't any in the past few days, and these patients have never been seen before. Looks like the fish have taken a bait." He Mingxue closed his cards and said with a look of excitement, "The demon's target is definitely Duan Ziki. We'll relax on the outside and tighten on the inside. Our first tactic is to lure them into the trap and adapt to other changes." "Got it. I'll make the arrangements." He Mingxue smiled, stood up, and walked out of the room. "Looks like the mole isn't stupid." Wang Lan smiled bitterly in a low voice. Wang Chu is wise. He guessed that even if the demons would make a move, the one who would make a move would most likely be a spy from the demons. The fact that the mole was able to hide so deeply in the Heavenly Sword Bureau is enough to prove that the mole is a very high-quality agent. The few arrangements he made were necessary, but at the same time, there were points that made people wary. For example, you placed Duan Ziki in the hospital. According to the safest way, Duan Ziki should be protected in the Heavenly Sword Bureau. If it was placed in the hospital, it was obvious that the protection was weakened. Also, have your brothers spread the news of Duan Ziki's status and let everyone know about the recent actions of capturing the traitors. It was a little too deliberate, but because every brother could be a spy hidden by the demons, it was necessary to let every brother know about the Duan Ziki's movements. It's impossible for him to not know that you're trying to lure him out, especially when he's in the dark and you're in the light. But your plan is an open one. As long as the demons can't be sure that Duan Ziki is really dead, they won't be able to find these traitors in Duan Ziki's brain. There were only 2 ways for the mole to go. One was to take a risk out of desperation, and the other was to retreat. If he retreats, we'll know who the mole is. If he takes the risk, we'll also know. If he doesn't want to be exposed, there's only one way, and that is to use the demon spies. Even so, we only need to wipe out the demon spies. As long as they can't be sure of Duan Ziki's life or death, it's useless no matter how many of them come. Even so, we can't underestimate the demons. For us, no matter how many demons come, we'll all die. For demons alone, if they don't even have the chance to break into the ward and see the truth, how can they still be considered elite to the demons? No matter how we defend, they'll definitely have a way. This is a game theory. The greatest respect for your opponent is to plan for the worst. Never underestimate your opponent. Don't think that the trap you set is foolproof. When you're planning, as long as you calculate what if the opponent sees through all your plans and counterattacks, what will you do? Before you calculate victory, calculate defeat first. Then what we do now? Move to Onziki? That way, even if they break in, they won't be able to see the truth. If we're competing with the demons, he'll be the trophy that we'll fight for. The trophy is in our hands now. The only way to ensure that nothing goes wrong is to hold the trophy firmly in our hands. Once the meat is in our mouth, we must swallow it first. Since the demons sent another spy team, then don't even think about leaving. Boom! Almost at the same time, Wang Qianfeng finished speaking, a violent explosion suddenly sounded from outside. The explosion happened so suddenly. They're moving. Wang Lan stood up and shouted. Since we've noticed, they'll definitely act as soon as possible. Let's sit here and be patient. Outside the small building, more than 10 demons disguised as patients suddenly transformed and ferociously attacked the independent inpatient building. Demons had a crushing advantage over humans in terms of strength. Demons had soul orbs, and their endurance and recovery of star power were incomparable to humans. If it weren't for the fact that humans had an unattainable advantage in terms of technique, human Takashi Hoshi would have been unable to withstand a single blow from demons. A beetle-shaped demon flew into the sky. Its 6 abdomens hugged each other, and a lightning ball with a diameter of more than 3 meters was born in the center of its abdomen. Super thunderstorm. The lightning ball shot out like a cannonball and bombarded the Heavenly Sword Bureau's base below. Given the size of the lightning ball, at least 5 or 6 people would die if it hit. Wind Dragon Roar. In the formation, Zhang Xiaoxue raised her head and looked at the lightning ball. Instantly, the star power around her surged and a huge star power formation appeared in front of her. From the formation, a wind dragon rushed out and collided with the lightning ball. In terms of star power consumption, the wind dragon's star power multiplied by 10 wouldn't be enough to cast such a huge lightning ball. But because wind countered lightning, and Zhang Xiaoxue's use of star power had reached an extremely high level, the lightning ball, which looked like a meteor, was shattered in the air by the wind dragon. What? In the sky, the beetle-shaped demon cried out in surprise. Xiaoxue! Zhang Yeqiu suddenly called out. The two acted almost at the same time. 2 star power arrays, one red and one green, appeared in front of them. Fire Dragon Flame Bullet. Wind Dragon Roar. A fire dragon rushed out of Zhang Yeqiu's chest. At the same time, Zhang Xiaoxue's wind dragon also rushed out of the star power arrays. But in the next moment, the sisters' actions caused the brothers from the Heavenly Sword Bureau to widen their eyes in disbelief. The two suddenly slammed their star power arrays together. In an instant, the star power arrays turned into a combination of green and red. The wind dragon and the fire dragon suddenly merged in the air. Fire Dragon Flame. A golden dragon formed by golden flames rushed into the sky. The beetle-shaped demon in heavy armor opened its eyes wide. It hurriedly flapped its wings and climbed up, but its body wasn't agile. Faced with the speed of the golden dragon, the beetle-shaped demon could only watch as the fire dragon hit it. Then it was burned to ashes in a tragic blaze. Good. These two humans can work together to perform Takashi Hoshi fusion? Damn it. In the dark, a demon snorted. No longer hiding, he walked out of the bushes. With 3 light steps, he completed his transformation. The transformed demon had an inverted triangular head like a praying mantis. His body was tall and slender, and there was a scabbard-like carapace on his back. His body was green and covered with black spots. Every joint that could be moved had armor spikes that glittered with cold light. On his elbows, there were 2 terrifying machetes. The demonic dweller's body was enveloped by a green light. The green light was burning like a flame. The moment he appeared, a terrifying pressure rushed toward the Heavenly Sword Bureau like a landslide. A high-level demon, Wang Qianfeng, who was in the ward, suddenly raised his head with a look of shock. Are the demons really planning to attack? Should we go help? Wang Lan asked hurriedly. He Ming Xue can handle it. Let's wait a little longer. Step by step, the high-level demon walked over. His aura howled, and a terrifying aura of suppression whizzed past. Many of the Heavenly Sword Bureau's brothers who were guarding the place fell limp to the ground. Even Zhang Yeqiu and her sister subconsciously took a step back. Oomph! In an instant, the demon cultivator turned into a blur and appeared in front of the Zhang sisters, as if he had crossed the time gap. His scimitar slashed toward Zhang Yeqiu's head. Psst! A purple light appeared, like a bolt of lightning striking down. A figure appeared in front of Zhang Yeqiu. The two figures strangely intertwined and separated in an instant. He Mingshua's body flashed with lightning. He looked at the demon with an expressionless face. The purple flaming scimitars in his hands danced like willow, the wisps at his fingertips. The demon looked at the broken scimitars on his elbows. On his triangular head, his eyes flickered like indicator lights. In an instant, the broken scimitars were repaired. The two figures suddenly intertwined again. The demon's wind speed was fast. He Mingshue's lightning activity was active. In an instant, the aftermath of the battle stirred up changes in the world. Wang Qianfeng stood quietly by the window. With his hands behind his back, he looked at the overflowing lightning in the distance and felt the mournful wind. At this moment, a demon's face appeared on the wall of the ward like an embossed sculpture. Almost at the moment it appeared, Wang Lan looked up and met the demon's eyes. In an instant, an indescribable terror struck Wang Lan's heart. Illusion. In an instant, Wang Lan's heart jumped to his throat. Activate Phoenix form. A coat of arms appeared between Wang Lan's eyebrows. In an instant, the feeling of terror disappeared. The demon on the wall passed through the wall like a ghost from the underworld. It turned into a ribbon and rushed towards Duan Ziki on the hospital bed. Wang Lan in his Phoenix form instantly activated his dynamic vision mode. The flaming scimitar in his hand turned into a stream of light and slashed at the demon's head. Boom! The wall exploded. The roof on top shot into the sky like a firecracker. In an instant, the world became especially hazy. The murderous aura turned into a fierce gale. The newly appeared demon's body dripped with green blood. He stared at Wang Lan, who had cut him down, and then looked at Duan Ziki, who was lying on a hospital bed. Sure enough, I guessed right. Poison Stinger is already dead. This is just a trick, but I have to say that you are very successful. You have won, but your victory will only end here. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Suddenly, the demon's body emitted an ear-piercing buzzing sound. Oh no, it's the demon language wave, Wang Lan suddenly shouted. His body flashed, and he slashed at the demon. At the same time, Wang Qianfeng in his Phoenix form also made his move. The two galaxy-grade experts joined forces to attack. The demon opposite them revealed a bitter smile of relief, and the star power around his body surged. His scimitar cut through his head. A palm stabbed into his chest. Under the joint attack of two Galaxy Realm Masters, he didn't even have a chance to self-destruct. Chapter 201. In the forest far away from the National Defense Hospital, a middle-aged man in a black coat slowly took off his hat. He calmly looked at the aftermath of the battle in the hospital and breathed out a puff of smoke. Got it, brother. Have a safe trip. As soon as he finished speaking, the leaves fell like butterflies. As the leaves fluttered, the figure turned into a butterfly and disappeared. Leapfrog kill. Reward: 1,000 experience points, 50 skill points. The moment the elite demons that suddenly appeared was killed, the system notification rang in his mind. At the same time, the aftermath of the battle outside the hospital room exploded again. Lightning flashed and the wind howled. He Mingxue and the wind-type demon. It was unknown who had the upper hand. Wind could counter lightning, but He Mingshue's fire type could counter wind at the same time. Wind had the speed of wind, and lightning also had the speed of lightning. The two of them fought for dozens of rounds, but there was no clear winner. Once again, the two of them separated from each other after a fierce clash. Retreat! The elite demons roared. As soon as they finished speaking, they were about to make a move. Two figures suddenly appeared like ghosts and stood behind the group of demons. Wang Lan, who was shrouded in a bloody aura, and Wang Fengfeng, who was surrounded by a shrill wind, formed a triangle and blocked the path of the devil dwellers. Seeing this, the demons' eyes flashed, and their bodies emitted a deathly aura. Suddenly, a strong wave of astral energy rippled. It was also at this moment that Wang Lan and the other two attacked. The triangular head flew into the sky, and the green gem shattered like a mirror. Boom! The high demon's body was instantly blasted apart by the terrifying astral energy. Leapfrog kill. Reward: 1,000 experience points, 50 skill points. Annihilated an elite team of demons. Reward: 15,000 experience points, 800 skill points. The two notifications rang, and Wang Lan's face showed a satisfied smile. This matter was considered to have come to an end. Leaving behind some people to deal with the aftermath, Wang Lan and the other main forces withdrew from the hospital in an orderly manner and returned to the Heavenly Sword Bureau for a post-war summary report. Although the fishing operation failed to fish out the mole hiding in the Heavenly Sword Bureau, overall, it was a great success. An elite demon spy team was wiped out by us in the National Defense Hospital. After explaining the entire process of the operation, Wang Qianfeng made a conclusion in front of everyone. After hearing the conclusion, all the brothers who participated in the operation smiled knowingly. Ming Shui, I'll have to trouble you with the mole in the Heavenly Sword Bureau. From now on, the confidentiality level of the Heavenly Sword Bureau's internal information would be increased by 1 level. If we don't get rid of the mole, our information will always be in danger of being leaked, Lu Zhao said with a smile but a serious tone. Chief, from the analysis of the results of this operation, we have analyzed 2 points. First, the mole had a certain status in the Bureau. Otherwise, the demons wouldn't be willing to give up a spy team to protect him. Second, the mole might not be a permanent member of the Bureau. I've already gone through a comprehensive investigation of the Bureau's permanent members, and there are no suspicious people. Then, that suspicious person must be the one we eliminated as a suspect. The scope is too big, and it's very difficult to pinpoint. So, investigating the internal suspects is a long-term and unrelenting task for you. Yes. Wei Exine, what do you have to say? Chief, from this incident, I feel that our internal strength still needs to be strengthened. Before, we still believe that with our strength, we could protect Sioux City. But from the demons we've encountered this year, the demons have placed more importance on Sioux City than we expected. Since last October, we've achieved results that the entire nation celebrated. Among them, we've killed no less than 8 high-level demons, all of them at the galaxy level. But are there only so many high-level demon spies in Sioux City? I'm afraid there's more. It's more likely that there's double or triple the number of demons experts hiding in Sioux City. As for our Heavenly Sword Bureau, we only have 11 galaxy-level fighters and 17 red-clothed elites. We're in the light, while the demons are in the dark. I'm afraid that this kind of strength isn't enough to deal with the increasingly grim situation. Chief, shouldn't we mention this to the headquarters? Oh, Wei Xian, did you hear something that made you say that? Lu Zhao suddenly asked with a faint smile. No. Everyone here is the backbone of our bureau, and we've truly risked our lives against the demons and shed our blood for the country. I won't hide it from you, but the demons are ready to make a move, and I'm afraid that a new war will come soon. In order to deal with the increasingly grim situation, the Ministry of National Defense plans to add 100 key Heavenly Sword Bureau departments to the original structure to form a strategic defense network covering the 24 provinces of the Jade State. These 100 Heavenly Sword Bureau departments will have to fight independently in the future and have a responsibility to protect their own areas. Even if they're separated from the leadership of their superiors, they must be able to operate flexibly. Because Jiang Province is adjacent to Shanghai, these 100 departments will take up 3 spots. As the headquarters of Jiang Province, Jin City will definitely take up 1 spot. Moreover, Jin City's geography is divided between Jiang Province and Insignia Province. As for the remaining 2 spots, Sioux City wouldn't have been able to compete for them. But who told us to achieve such brilliant results this year? Sioux City is very likely to become the headquarters of Jiang Province's Jiang Defense Region. If that's the case, the East can coordinate with Shanghai, the South can coordinate with Zhezhou, the North can coordinate with Jiangbei, and the West can fight side by side with Jin City. Really? Even the always calm Wang Qianfeng's eyes lit up when he heard this news. If Sioux City becomes one of the 100 departments, won't our Sioux City have a general? Ha ha ha. In terms of rank, that's indeed the case. And this is only the beginning. If the flames of war really ignite, who knows what will happen in the future? All right, these are all digressions. Whether or not Sioux City can become one of the 100 departments, we still have to work hard, be careful, and do our job seriously. You all have to report to me within 3 days, and I'll report to Jin City's headquarters. Director Zhang will be very happy to see Sioux City's new achievements. The department heads will stay, and the rest of you can go back. Oh right, the commendation will wait until the higher-ups reply. Today, the brothers who participated in the operation have 3 days off. During these 3 days, you can be absent, but your phones must be on 24/7. Yes. Wang Lan yawned and walked out of the meeting room to look at the time. It was already past 10 o'clock. He took 4 days off, and tomorrow was still Saturday or Sunday. He already took a week off, so 1 day shouldn't matter, right? Wang Lan decided to skip class, but on the way, he sent a group message to Jiang Xinyu and the others. The quarantine has been lifted. Let's play together tomorrow. Lan Zi, you're finally released. What did you do to get locked up for so many days? Seeing this reply, Wang Lan's good mood suddenly disappeared. Su Xiangwen knew what was going on, but he was still so talkative. His recommendation for joining the Heavenly Sword Bureau was still on the desk. Another week. Ding dong, the notification sounded again. Wang Lan picked it up and saw that it was Jiang Xinyu's reply. It was extremely short, just 2 words. Are you okay? I'm fine. Are you in class now? Do you have your phone with you all the time? Lan Zi, don't worry, my hands are on the desk. I'm absolutely safe. Then how do you type? Do you dare to use voice? My feet. In Wang Lan's mind, Su Xiangwen's feet stepped on the phone, his fingers flying as he typed rapidly. And the students around him fainted from the smell of this biochemical weapon. So poisonous. Just as he put down the phone, ding dong. Wang Lan picked up the phone and glanced at it. He was so excited that he almost threw the phone away. Dear Mr. Wang Lan, the Takashi Hoshi Technology Center that you ordered has been matched. Please contact your buyer as soon as you see the message. The red light in front of him jumped, and the moment the green light turned green, Wang Lan decisively chose to go straight, even though he originally planned to turn right. The car roared all the way to the Takashi Hoshi clubhouse. He had already called Gong Jian when he was in the car, so when Wang Lan's car stopped in front of the Takashi Hoshi clubhouse, Gong Jian, dressed in a suit, was already waiting at the entrance. Is this the manager of the Takashi Hoshi Technology Center, Gong Jian? A few Takashi Hoshi members who came out of the Takashi Hoshi clubhouse saw Gong Jian and stopped laughing. They quietly pulled their companions away. The manager of the Takashi Hoshi clubhouse? The one in charge? Another person asked with a northeastern accent. He's a ruthless person. How is he ruthless? The guard of the Takashi Hoshi clubhouse is on the same level as the capital of Shanghai. How ruthless do you think he is? Shanghai? Damn. A Shanghai cultivator came to Sioux City to guard? He looks like he's waiting for someone. Are you kidding me? He probably came out to bask in the sun. Wang Lan, you're here? Gong Jian saw Wang Lan walking over and walked up to her with a smile. His smile was like a spring breeze. I say, Brother Jian, you really made me wait. Last time, you got the new moon arrows in 10 days. Why did you make me wait for a month this time? Although Wang Lan complained, his face showed that he couldn't wait any longer. Do you think the A-grade Takashi Hoshi Technology Center is a cabbage? Something that can be easily obtained? As he spoke, he put his arm around Wang Lan's shoulder and brought him in. Not far away, a gorgeously dressed female Takashi Hoshi asked excitedly, as if she had found a prey. His younger brother? Should be, but I guarantee that if you dare to be reckless with his younger brother, your corpse will be on the streets tomorrow. Hua, don't be impulsive. Scram, this old lady will be reckless? That's love. After being brought into the office by Gong Jian, Wang Lan sat down on the sofa. The Takashi Hoshi Technology Center is here. Gong Jian placed an exquisite metal box in front of Wang Lan. Takashi Hoshi Technology Center, Thunder Snake, A-grade Thunder Attribute Takashi Hoshi Technology Center, Single Target Attack Type Takashi Hoshi Technology Center. Among the A-grade Takashi Hoshi Technology Center, Single Target Attack Type Takashi Hoshi Technology Center is already rare, and you're blaming me for taking too long? Even if there is a suitable Takashi Hoshi Technology Center, what if the other party does not intend to sell it to you? Can we still snatch it from him? Some Takashi Hoshi Technology Center are secret family heirlooms. Do you think they will give it to you? To be able to obtain this Thundersnake Technology Center, we have put in a lot of work, okay? Is he still alive? Alive, Gong Jian subconsciously replied. In an instant, he looked at Wang Lan in disbelief. Damn, you actually managed to trick me? Nope, I was just casually asking. Don't worry, that guy is from an international hunter organization. Although he is not an assassin, he has done a lot of shady business before. Last time in the Soma Strait, he blackmailed 2 of our cargo ships. Originally, he is elusive and slippery, and it would be difficult to capture him. Mobilizing the special forces for 2 cargo ships is not worth it. However, when the company commander heard my report, he went out for a stroll in the name of training the soldiers. And he can be considered as a trophy. Chapter 202. Although Gong Jian's words were casual, Wang Lan knew that Vermilion Bird had gone abroad for him and destroyed an international hunter organization just to collect a suitable Takashi Hoshi skill for him. Thank you. Wang Lan stretched out her hand and stroked the metal box as she spoke with a heavy heart. If you're a man, don't be so sentimental. Who told you to be a freak? You're a star blazing, but you can learn the A-level Takashi Hoshi skill so well. You're a fire elemental, but you can also learn the thunder elemental. Fortunately, you have a normal side. Insufficient star power is a shortcoming, which limits the number of Takashi Hoshi skills you can learn. Thunder Snake concentrates thunder elemental star power to a high degree. When you use it, your body will be entangled by a thunder snake. When you use it, the thunder snake will be shot out. This Takashi Hoshi skill still has potential. You can explore it yourself. 1 thunder snake? If you can only use 1 thunder snake, is it worthy of being called an A-level Takashi Hoshi skill? The number of thunder snakes depends on your star power. This Takashi Hoshi skill has high growth potential and is very maneuverable. To be honest, I'm tempted. Thank you. Wang Lan stood up with the metal box in his hands. Are you forgetting something? What? Pay the bill. Do you think the A-level Takashi Hoshi skill is free? 8 million. Thank you for your patronage. Wang Lan didn't care much about money. Anyway, he didn't know how many zeros there were in his bank account. 1 more or 1 less didn't matter. Besides, his money had the ability to reproduce itself. The more he spent, the more he would have. Coming out of the Takashi Hoshi Hall, he went straight to the starry building. After parking the car, Wang Lan jumped out of the car and couldn't wait to open the metal box. As expected, the A-level Takashi Hoshi skill was an intermediate soul orb. Wang Lan held the soul bead in his hand and sucked gently. A mass of astral power mixed with a stream of spiritual information flowed into his mind. Discovered that Takashi Hoshi can be learned. Consume 100 skill points to learn? Was there even a need to ask? Even after using Phoenix form twice, Wang Lan still had 2,000 skill points in reserve. Learning another A-rank Takashi Hoshi skill would not be a problem. After adding 100 skill points, the Thundersnake skill icon lit up on Takashi Hoshi's skill page. It was a cobra formed by lightning. It was cruel and cold, and its fangs were sinister. Wang Lan did not continue to add points. In his mind, he was trying to understand the uniqueness of the Takashi Hoshi skill. How should he put it? The difference between the Thunder attribute Takashi Hoshi and the Fire attribute Takashi Hoshi was like the difference between language and English. They were both liberal arts, but they were not the same thing. The characteristic of the fire element was its brutality. When the star powers collided, they would destroy and release a powerful energy. On the other hand, the thunder attribute was its concentration. It compressed the thunder attribute star power. How many Takashi Hoshi skills could be used after the compression of a star power? Wang Lan did not dare to guess. The possibility was so small that it was hard to accept. For comparison, if one used the same amount of star power to cast a fireball, one could spit out a wheel-sized fireball. However, if one used a thunderball, one could only spit out a thunderball the size of a ping-pong ball. Now, he finally knew why the thunder attribute Takashi Hoshi was so short on mana. Unless one had a skill to store astral power or was born with extraordinary talent, it was normal for the thunder attribute Takashi Hoshi to not be able to last for long in the Takashi Hoshi world. The thunder attribute said that other than the wind attribute, everyone else here was trash. Then, the other attributes could be dealt with immediately. You could only be a man for 3 seconds. After 3 seconds, either you or I would die. However, under normal circumstances, it was rare for the thunder attribute to fail. In the past, Wang Lan did not understand. He thought it was God's fair choice. He gave the thunder attribute unparalleled speed and lethality, but forgot to give the thunder attribute Takashi Hoshi an abundance of mana. Now, he finally understood that it was not that the Takashi Hoshi lacked mana. It was that the thunder attribute consumed too much. It was completely reasonable for the thunder attribute to have frightening speed and explosive power. Condensation was the essence. And if you were already condensed to this extent, if you still did not have frightening speed and powerful destructive power, then star martial artists of this attribute ought to end their own lives as an apology to the world. After understanding the whole story, Wang Lan finally understood that the glory was only in the eyes of others. What was behind the glory? Only oneself knew. Wang Lan came to the ring, activated the PS armor, and mobilized the star power against the armor on the wall. In an instant, the star power around Wang Lan's body flashed. The crackling sound of electric arcs circulated around his body. As more and more electric arcs flashed, Wang Lan's body was gradually wrapped in blue electric arcs. The electric current visible to the naked eye turned into countless small streams of water that flowed around Wang Lan's body. CSI. Suddenly, a sharp sound of thunder sounded. A thunder snake as thick as an arm swam around Wang Lan's body. Wang Lan raised his arm and instantly activated the Takashi Hoshi skill. The thunder snake rushed out from Wang Lan's arm and slammed into the PS armor in front of him. Boom! 20 energy. Damn, as expected of the Takashi Hoshi skill that consumed nearly a third of my star power. It could actually deal 20 energy damage when it was only a silver rank 1. Even if it was the new moon arrow, without using compound skills, it would only be able to deal this damage when it reached silver rank 7. It was also an A-rank Takashi Hoshi skill, but the focus was different. The difference between the two was like heaven and earth. And this Thunder Snake's activation speed, star power consumption, and even the damage output made Wang Lan not particularly satisfied. However, when he thought about it, it was only a silver rank 1. From the level of training, it had only just been completed. After adding 100 skill points, the Thunder Snake was instantly pushed down to silver rank 2. When he used it again, the activation speed was obviously faster. Moreover, the consumption was slightly less than when he was silver rank 1. The silver rank 2 Thunder Snake's activation speed was faster, and the speed of the Thunder Snake's attack was also faster. Only then did it look slightly better. He continued to add points to Silver Rank 3. The Silver Rank 3 Thunder Snake could now change direction in the air. After all, the Thunder Snake was a Thunder Snake. If it could not attack in a snake shape, it would be a waste of its name. After the Thunder Snake shot out, Wang Lan still had one more chance to change its attack trajectory. At this level, the Thunder Snake's Takashi Hoshi skill had basically reached a very proficient level. It only needed 3 seconds to activate the Thunder Snake. This was already comparable to the Takashi Hoshi Star Blazing user's Takashi Hoshi skill. However, this level was not enough for Wang Lan. No matter if it was Flame Blade or Nebula Sword Dance, Wang Lan was able to activate them instantly. Even for the New Moon Arrow, Wang Lan fired it within 2 seconds. He had to continue adding points. When the Thunder Snake was added to Silver Rank 5, its casting speed was already compressed to 2 seconds. However, this was already the limit. At Silver Rank, it was already very difficult to compress the casting time any further. At Silver Rank 5, Wang Lan could already nurture 2 Thunder Snakes at the same time and shoot them from both hands. Similarly, Wang Lan could also nurture a Thunder Snake that was as thick as a thigh. Its damage was 50 energy points. The lethality of this attack was already comparable to the weakest Flame Arrow. However, this damage was only the starting point for the Thunder Snake. As for what the end point would be, Wang Lan Star Blazing did not have the chance to experience it. What really made Wang Lan surprised was that the Thunder Snake and the New Moon Arrow carried the Takashi Hoshi skill. In other words, it could not be considered a Takashi Hoshi skill. It could only be considered a derivative ability of the Thunder Snake. Every Thunder Attribute Star martial artist dreamed of achieving this state, which was the activation of the body. Body activation was the first obvious watershed for a Thunder Attribute Takashi Hoshi user. Thunder Attribute Star energy was not easy to control, but as the saying goes, 8 immortals cross the sea, each showing his own abilities. There were always more solutions than problems. He didn't know when it started, but Thunder Attribute Star martial artists had stopped competing with Thunder Attribute Star martial artists. If you don't let me control you, then I'll control you. A big lump is not easy to control. That's fine. Can I just cut it into pieces? How do I make a lump of metal flow? One way is to melt the metal. However, melting requires a very high temperature. Can a normal person's body withstand it? So the other way is to make the metal into tiny steel balls. Sand can flow because of the same principle, so this is the only feasible way to control the Thunder Attribute. However, there was another problem. The Thunder Attribute was concentrated. If it was cut into tiny grains, could the Thunder Attribute still be the Thunder Attribute? At this time, some lunatics had their eyes on human cells. Look, how dense are human cells? How compact are they? How wonderful would it be if we could use our cells as conductors for Thunder Attribute Star energy? Then, after paying a painful price, the first Thunder Attribute Takashi Hoshi user appeared. For a moment, he became the most handsome guy on the battlefield. Turning into an electric arc, he weaved through the battlefield at the speed of thunder and instantly stole the thunder from the Wind Attribute Takashi Hoshi. And the Thunder Attribute Takashi Hoshi was the toughest among all the Takashi Hoshi users. When faced with difficulties, they were resolute. When faced with difficulties, they would rush through them. When one person succeeded, the others followed suit. Then, all kinds of methods to activate the body were developed. The ability to activate the body became the standard for how far a Thunder Attribute Takashi Hoshi user could go. After all, no one knew whether the Thunder Attribute Takashi Hoshi could hit a Takashi Hoshi user whose body had been activated. The activation, speed, and strength of the body would all reach a terrifying level. They would also be immune to most thunder and lightning damage. Take Zhuang Haoyan, for example. Why was he so confident in his Thunder Attribute skills? His speed was so fast that even Takashi Hoshi couldn't catch up with him. What was there to be afraid of? Although the Thunder Snake was not a Takashi Hoshi skill that specialized in Thunder Attribute, he could use it to derive Thunder Attribute activity. This was the value of advanced Takashi Hoshi skills. Although the main function was not a certain ability, it carried this ability. Take mobile phones, for example. The main function was to surf the internet and play games, but didn't they still have a camera function? The thunder attribute activity was restrained by Wang Lan, but it didn't mean that this ability wasn't strong. To be honest, Wang Lan was so envious that his eyes turned red. If he had dynamic vision and super fast reaction speed, Wang Lan didn't even dare to imagine how arrogant he would be. Moreover, restraining the activation of Zhuang Haoyan and Su Xiangwen wasn't a skill. Only those that could restrain He Mingxue would be considered impressive. However, Wang Lan only dared to think about it. He had seen it that day. After He Mingxue fully activated his thunder attribute, Wang Lan couldn't even keep up with half of his speed, even if he used his phoenix form. If Silver 5 was when he had just touched the thunder attribute activity, then Silver 6 was when he could already activate the thunder attribute activity. After activating it for 3 seconds, Wang Lan felt that his body had become a terrifying sieve. His star power was leaking out from countless holes in his body. This scared Wang Lan so much that he quickly turned off the thunder attribute activity. Damn, this consumption of star power was too terrifying. Wang Lan could finally understand Zhuang Haoyan's grievance back then. Using such a terrifying Takashi Hoshi skill in exchange for a terrifying speed, yet he was still killed in seconds? If it was Wang Lan, he would have doubted his life. At this point, Wang Lan didn't hesitate anymore. He directly increased the Thunder Snake to Silver 9. Boom! As if a quantitative change caused a qualitative change, Wang Lan's brain instantly exploded. It was also at this moment that Wang Lan's mind recalled the system prompt, discovered that you can connect Takashi Hoshi's skill. Do you wish to use 1,000 skill points to connect? Chapter 203. Wang Lan hurriedly looked at the system layout and was surprised to see that the two skills that were linked were Thunder Snake and Nebula Sword Dance. Wasn't Thunder Snake and Crescent Arrow a standard skill? Why were they linked with Nebula Sword Dance? Although he was puzzled, Wang Lan still chose to link the skills because of his anticipation for the Takashi Hoshi skill. He filled in 1,000 skill points, and the two Takashi Hoshi skills on the system layout instantly lit up. A mysterious connection was linked to the two Takashi Hoshi skills. Boom! Countless information exploded in Wang Lan's mind. The two Takashi Hoshi skills seemed to have been tempered thousands of times, blended, and used countless times. Experience, comprehension, they all turned into instincts of the body. When the two Takashi Hoshi skills were linked, Wang Lan finally understood why Thunder Snake and Nebula Sword Dance were linked. The key point of Nebula Sword Dance was the control of the entire body's star power. The afterimage created by Nebula Sword Dance was the perfect control of the entire body's star power, and the lightning activity was the microscopic control of the body. The combination of the two could create a Thunder Snake afterimage. The skill retained the terrifying speed of the lightning activity and the afterimage characteristic of Nebula Sword Dance. Wang Lan took out Ghost Weep, closed his eyes slightly, and felt the combination of the two Takashi Hoshi skills. Zizizi. Suddenly, electric arcs flashed around him. Endless electric arcs flowed and spread throughout Wang Lan's body, especially on Ghost Weep. The electric arcs entangled Ghost Weep and turned it into a Thunder God's sword. Originally, Ghost Weep was only about 40 centimeters long and was a short sword. However, after being enveloped by the lightning, Ghost Weep instantly doubled in size. Ghost Weep's slightly twisted patterns became the flow of the Thunder God sword, making the Thunder God's sword even more mysterious. Looking at the Thunder God sword in his hand, could this be the correct way to activate Ghost Weep? His figure flashed, and in an instant, 6 figures of Wang Lan, who were wrapped in lightning, appeared in the training ground. Not only did each of these figures have the ability to confuse the opponent, but they also had the ability to self-destruct. When there was no need for the Thunder Phantoms to self-destruct, the star power of these phantoms could be recovered. Although there were fewer of them, their power was many times stronger. Through the attraction of electromagnetism, the lightning phantom image could instantly be sucked back into Wang Lan's body like a ghost. The star power consumption would be double that of an ordinary nebula sword dance. However, once the thunder self-detonated, this ball of star power would be completely consumed, and he would lose a third of his mana. Boom! Wang Lan controlled a thunder phantom to self-destruct. In an instant, the thunder exploded like a spiderweb. The entire platform was filled with electric arcs, and even the PS armor was flashing. 100 energy points. Wang Lan was shocked as he looked at the energy data that the PS armor fed back to him. Wang Lan remembered that even the purple flame arrow only had 300 points of energy. 300 points was equivalent to the power of a rocket launcher. It was a bazooka, not a rocket. Jade State's bazooka had all the characteristics of a missile, except for the fact that it was not as powerful as a missile. Anyway, the White Eagle State had complained about it before. You call this a bazooka? Your bazooka and missile came from the same production line, right? The power of the Thunder Phantom self-destruction was not as powerful as the Purple Flame Arrow, but Wang Lan felt that he could self-destruct 3 times in a row. 100 points of energy, 3 would be 300 points, and it would not be worse than the Purple Flame Arrow. More importantly, the range of application was more important. The Purple Flame Arrow was the best long-range bomb, and the Thunder Phantoms were the best short-range minefields. The 6 Thunder Phantoms spread out and were about to self-destruct together. With Wang Lan's position, there would be no one left unscathed within a 15-meter radius. Of course, if the 6 of them exploded together, only 3 of them would really explode. He would not use it unless he had no other choice. After the 6 Thunder Phantoms exploded, even if the enemy did not die, he would die. The Thunder Phantom's self-destruction was definitely not the essence of this series of attacks. The real essence was Wang Lan's thunder activity and the confusion of the nebulous sword dance. No, there was also the sword of thunder formed by Ghost Weep. In an instant, lightning flashed in the venue, and Wang Lan's body appeared in every corner of the battlefield, as if he had teleported. The sword in his hand was fixed in a slashing motion. 10 points of energy. 10 points of energy. 8 points of energy. 5 points of energy. 12 points of energy. Good heavens! Every time he slashed, the number after hitting the PS armor made Wang Lan's heart bloom with joy. Takashi Hoshi skill discovered. Consumed 2,000 points of Takashi Hoshi skill connection. Wang Lan had just finished experimenting when a notification suddenly rang in his mind. There were 2 more Takashi Hoshi skills that could be connected. Wang Lan did not remember learning anything else. He hurriedly sank into his spiritual sea again and opened the system's skill page. The icons of the 4 Takashi Hoshi skills actually flashed together. F*CK. Can you be any more shameless? You want 1,000 skill points for 2 skills in a row, and you want 2,000 skill points for 4 skills in a row? Did I feed the 2 skill points from before to the dogs? You still want skill points. Although that was what he said, he was just venting his displeasure. Wasn't it a game routine to connect 2 skills in a row and then connect 4 skills in a row? If it were not for the fact that there were only 600 skill points left in the system, Wang Lan would have been very happy. However, even without the connection, Wang Lan estimated that his strength should have doubled from before. At least, the problem of being countered by a single attribute was gone. Moreover, Wang Lan also discovered something about himself that was a little demonic. It was that his star power attribute was not focused. Normally, Takashi Hoshi players with multiple attributes would have a focus on their star power attribute. For example, Jiang Sinyu's ice attribute was 45%, and the combination of wind and water attributes was 45%. Jiang Sinyu's specialty was the ice attribute Takashi Hoshi skill. The wind and water attribute would not be as easy to use as the ice attribute. However, Jiang Sinyu was a little special. Her wind and water attribute was the ice attribute. If it was a Takashi Hoshi player with multiple attributes without the combination attribute, the selection of attributes would be even more limited. But Wang Lan? There was no difference between his main attribute and the selection of attributes. When he used the fire attribute was his main attribute. When he used the thunder attribute was his main attribute. As her studies deepened and she grasped more knowledge, Wang Lan discovered that she was truly different from ordinary people in terms of how awesome she was. Was it the system? Yes. However, even without the system, Wang Lan was confident that he was awesome. That was the special characteristic of his star power. Star power did not have any attributes, but it could be directly converted into the fire and thunder attributes without a step. This was also why Wang Lan did not have a time interval between switching Takashi Hoshi skills, because the step of time interval was directly omitted. After going upstairs and going home, he went straight to bed after washing up. The next day, when Wang Lan was still in a daze, Xiao AI woke Wang Lan up. Wang Lan, Jiang Xinyu, and the others are here to look for you. If you continue to sleep in, they will be able to see a picture of a handsome man sleeping in spring. Get lost. Who allowed you to open the elevator? You have already set it up. When Jiang Xinyu and the others come, they can open the elevator without any verification. Wang Lan hurriedly got up. Just as he was washing up in the bathroom, the elevator door opened. I just woke up. You guys sit wherever you want. Xiao AI, turn on the sun mode. CSCC seemed to be a little reserved. She sat on the sofa obediently. Su Xiangwen and Gong Feiyu skillfully went to the balcony, pulled out the lounge chairs, and lay down. Xiao AI double cola. Okay. After Wang Lan changed and came out, Jiang Xinyu took out a USB flash drive from her bag and handed it to Xiao AI, who was slowly walking over. What is this? Videos of the selection competitions in Jin City and a few other cities. Jiang Xinyu raised her head and looked at Wang Lan with concern. What about you? What happened? You took a week off for the first time. There was a mission, the kind that had to be done by me. But now, the mission is complete. Wang Lan smiled. Speaking of which, how did you get this information? There are even videos? I remember that during our school selection, the school was very strict. As long as there are enough benefits, there will definitely be more solutions than problems. Jin City, Chong City, Tong City, and Tian City were all popular contenders for the championship. Their information is worth at least 500,000. Is that so? How much did you pay? 1 million. Lanzi, we've seen the information. Xinyu brought it here specifically for you to see. Study it well. Don't lose too badly. Su Xiangwen drank his cola and looked as if he had seen through the world of mortals. Lao Su, are you giving up? They're not human. They're all freaks. Unless I can completely master the pure Yang Dharma. Otherwise, I can't beat them. I definitely can't beat them. Lanzi, stop struggling. If you can break through Nebula before May 15th, you might be able to make it into the top 10 with a degree of mutation. Otherwise, it's really hopeless. Now that you've said it, why do I feel like I can't believe it? Don't doubt it yet. Let's talk about one. There's a guy in Tian City who's in the early stage of Nebula and has thunder and fire attributes. Let's not talk about his Takashi Hoshi skills. He's a descendant of the reclusive Takashi Hoshi clan and has the ancestral Astral Palace artifact, the Golden Sun Wheel. Do you know what an Astral Palace artifact is? A peerless master who has surpassed the Astral Sea realm will refine the weapon that will accompany him for the rest of his life in his Astral Palace. The weapon will carry the master's spirit and will. Even if the master dies, his Astral Palace artifact will be left to his descendants to protect them. You didn't see that guy. He's practically cheating. After he left the arena, he stood still and casually threw out the Golden Sun Wheel. The Golden Sun Wheel flew directly to the top of his opponent's head and then spewed out golden true sun fire. You can't escape. You can't hide. Even a water attribute Takashi Hoshi can't restrain it. You can either admit defeat or be burned to death. How do you think you can beat him? Isn't that cheating? Wang Lan was surprised. Wang Lan had heard of the Astral Palace artifact from Maigetsu Castle. However, Wang Lan didn't care about it. After all, it was far away from him and wasn't something he should think about or care about. Among the Astral Palace artifacts, The most familiar ones were the legendary divine weapons that frequently appeared in movies. The 10 great divine swords, the Western Chu Overlord Spear, the Liu family Sky Piercer Halberd, the Heaven-Measuring Ruler, the Firmament Shield, and so on. However, there were very few of them in the real world. Wang Lan didn't even think that they would appear in the provincial martial competition. Is that cheating? We all want to be counted. But he said that the Astral Palace artifact is his weapon and also a part of his strength. How can it be considered cheating? If you're not convinced, you can use it too. Tell me, how do you think you can beat him when you meet him? True Sun Fire? Wang Lan raised his head and looked at the sun hanging high in the east. So, my Phoenix constellation Saint Cloth can be used. Chapter 204. This person is indeed unbeatable, but he relies on external forces, not actual skills. I studied it all night yesterday. My firmament eyes should be able to withstand the true sun fire for 10 seconds. If I can fight him face to face within 10 seconds, his sun chakram will be broken. I still have a chance of winning if I meet him, Jiang Xinyu said, slightly unconvinced. Xinyu, he's always used the sun chakram to destroy everything and has never revealed his true strength. However, he has dual attributes of thunder and fire. From the information we've gathered, his true strength is not below yours. Don't think that he's the second most powerful person in Tian City because of the sun chakram, Gong Feiyu hurriedly said. We haven't even fought yet, and you're already so pessimistic. How can we fight? Wang Lan shrugged and asked with a smile. I'm just saying. Anyway, I don't have much hope. Let's just do our best and leave it to fate. There are too many monsters this year. The 5 of them went to the cultivation room on the second basement floor to cultivate for another day. They fought to their heart's content and relieved the pressure in their hearts. At noon, they went to a restaurant in Eastern Skygate. This time, Jiang Xinyu and the others came mainly to see Wang Lan. Wang Lan had taken a week off. Although Su Xiangwen had said that Wang Lan was on a mission, they couldn't help but worry. Now that they saw that Wang Lan was fine, they were naturally relieved. Their future cultivation could not rely on battles to make great progress. They might as well use the time to improve their mastery of Takashi Hoshi. For Su Xiangwen and Gong Feiyu, they still had a long way to go before they could fully master the A-rank Takashi Hoshi. The more they mastered, the higher their chances of winning. After they left, Wang Lan carefully clicked on the battle videos that Jiang Xinyu had sent her, which were secretly recorded in various cities. The first battle was a battle between 2 Nebula experts from Gold City. From noon to night, there were a total of 20 battles. Wang Lan only watched the first round, but the shock in his heart could not be quelled. It was no wonder that Su Xiangwen, who always liked to be straightforward, was in such a negative state. Among the 10 people from Jean City's team, there were 7 or 8 Su Xiangwen that he definitely couldn't beat. The rest of them had a 50% chance of winning. In any case, Su Xiangwen was one of the top 5 students in the 3rd year of high school in Su City. He had always been very strong. Only Jiang Xinyu and Mu Xiaoyun could make Su Xiangwen lose his temper. However, in front of this group of perverts in Jean City, he was completely suppressed. Other than Jean City, there were also Tong City, Chong City, and Tian City. These 4 cities were filled with monsters. Any random city could beat Su City. He had just connected the Nebula Sword Dance and the Thunder Snake, and the feeling of his strength exploding was instantly doused by this bucket of cold water. There were so many people in the video, but Wang Lan was less than half confident. He gently picked up the coffee in front of him and took a sip. His mind sank into the system and looked at the 4 skills waiting to be connected. He was still short of 1,400 skill points. If he could connect these 4 skills, he had the confidence to fight for the championship. Skill points. Was he short of money again? Should I accept a mission? Wang Lan thought. He opened the Heavenly Sword Bureau's official website and entered the mission area. There were so many missions that he had accepted, and there were less than 10 that he had not accepted. Escort our country's academic exchange academician to White Eagle to attend an academic conference for 2 months? Was this a joke? Go to Iceland to retrieve a new poisonous exotic beast poison sample and ask for a 5-man nebula team? Forget it. I'm just star-blazing. I'll just keep a low profile. There was a backlog of death sentences for the past year. In order to save the country's resources and prevent waste, the death sentences would be carried out according to the order of the sentence. An executioner's mission? This didn't seem particularly difficult. Why didn't anyone accept it? Wang Lan hesitated. In the end, he didn't choose to accept it. He picked up the phone and dialed a number. On the night of the Duan Ziki's capture, Su Shiyun had led people from the Dark Shadow operations to him. Hello, Wang Lan. Why are you suddenly calling me? Brother Su, I want to ask you something. Do you have any missions that are suitable for me? Missions? Why? You don't have to go to school? I do, but I can't delay my work because of school, right? I'm at least. Don't give me that. Your job is to go to school. To be honest, there are missions. Maintain the stability of Sioux City and track down the demon spies. Do you have any clues about the demon spies? If you do, contact me. Wang Lan decisively hung up the phone. Why would I ask you for a mission if I had clues? Looks like I can't count on you. He called Li Gu again. This guy had been appearing and disappearing like a ghost for the past few months. Other than the few days when he showed up while fishing, he didn't see him at all. Hey, what's the matter? The other side's voice was very stiff and low. Li Gu, do you have any mission for me to do? I see that all the missions in the station have been accepted. Yes, I'm currently accepting a security mission for 3 months. If you want it, I can give it to you. Forget it. Sorry to disturb you. Go do what you need to do. 3 months. It's already summer vacation. Everything's cold by then. Doing missions wasn't an emergency measure. Even if there were suitable missions, the rewards might not be high. There was only a month left until the official competition. Even if he did missions this month, it was unlikely that he would be able to get 1,600 skill points. The only thing that could gather a large amount of skill points in a short period of time was soul orbs. Should he go to the training field again? And this idea wasn't bad. Sinew, do you want to go to the training field together this month? He quickly typed a line of words and sent it. The training field will be temporarily closed for 4 months. Don't you know? The other side instantly replied. Closed? Why? Why didn't I know? They said that the training field will be reorganized while you're on a mission. F***CK me. He opened the web search. Sure enough, this was the case. He couldn't even go to the training field. There was only one way now. Wang Lan's expression gradually became sinister and perverted. It's time to kill someone. Speaking of which, killing someone doesn't just give me 1 skill point. Hee hee. Hello, Wang Lan? Did you find any clues? He picked up Wang Qianfeng's call. Wang Qianfeng's opening words stunned Wang Lan. When did I become so amazing in Wang Chu's heart? Don't talk nonsense. If you don't have any clues, why are you calling me at this time? Wang Chu, this time I formed an elite team of demons. Do you think it's possible for the higher-ups to give me another Black Moon medal? If you have something to say, just say it. Don't change the topic. Wang Qianfeng's chopsticks paused. He held back his laughter as he spoke in a low voice. Wang Chu, I just saw that in the department's mission acceptance column. There seems to be a recruitment for a death penalty mission. There is such a thing. What's wrong? Is there a problem? Do you think I can do it? Wang Lan asked carefully. What do you mean by that? You said you want to carry out a death penalty mission? Are you okay? I'm fine, Wang Chu. Is there anything wrong with this mission? There's nothing wrong with the mission, but this is a dirty job. Most people are not willing to accept it. It's not convenient for these criminals to be executed in public, so it can only be done by the department's brothers. Are you okay? Why would you want to carry out this kind of mission? No, I had nothing to do. When I saw that the organization needed it, my blood rushed to my head. Some dirty work is nothing. For the country and the people, why would I care about this little bit of reputation? Once I'm done, I'll leave and hide my achievements and reputation. Is there something wrong with your mental state? Do you want me to arrange a psychiatrist for you? Wang Chu, there's nothing wrong with my mental state. I just have a sincere heart. Bullshit. You have nothing to do anyway. Do you think I don't know how bad your studies are? Tell me honestly, what's the situation? I just learned another Takashi Hoshi technique. I'm researching the lightning activity, but I'm afraid it will cause harm to my body, so I want to find some small animals to try it out. I wanted to find a small rabbit to try it out, but rabbits are so cute. You learned a new Takashi Hoshi technique? Did you take what I said as wind in one ear or another? Wait, what did you just say? What you researching? Lightning activity? Ah, lightning attribute Takashi Hoshi technique? Yes, the A-rank lightning attribute Takashi Hoshi technique is the lightning snake. After my research, I found that the lightning snake Takashi Hoshi technique has the potential to complete the lightning activity. If I can complete the lightning activity before the provincial martial tournament, my chances of success will be much higher. What are you talking about? You're a fire attribute Takashi Hoshi. What kind of lightning activity are you researching? How drunk are you? But I've already learned the lightning snake technique. There was a long silence on the other end of the phone. After a long time, Wang Qianfeng said, "Come to the station tomorrow morning." After hanging up, Wang Lan was sweating profusely. As expected, lying wasn't my style. Not knowing how to lie was my biggest weakness. The next morning, Wang Lan was woken up by Wang Qianfeng's phone call. "You're here?" "I'm here. I'm on my way." Wang Lan quickly flipped open his blanket and said, "You're still sleeping? I woke up early to wait for you, and you're telling me you're still sleeping? I'll give you half an hour." He had brought this upon himself, so he had to finish this act even if he had to cry. After washing up, he drove to the Heavenly Sword Bureau. As soon as he parked his car, Wang Qianfeng appeared beside Wang Lan. "Follow me." He followed Wang Qianfeng to Building R. Inside, there were researchers in white uniforms walking around. "Wang Chu, this seems to be the place where I did the Takashi Hoshi test." "Yes, I'll do another attribute test for you. You're a fire attribute Takashi Hoshi. How can you learn the lightning attribute Takashi Hoshi technique? Unless you've already cultivated a second attribute. However, the second attribute can only be cultivated after reaching the galaxy grade. And then? What will happen if I have a second attribute? That only proves one thing. You managed to cultivate a second attribute in Star Blazing, so it's worth studying. The Heavenly Sword Bureau's attribute testing apparatus was exactly the same as the one in the Takashi Hoshi Hall. This was the second time Wang Lan had done the attribute testing, so he was very familiar with it. After a series of clicks and clicks, the latest attribute testing report appeared. The second lieutenant picked up the report and glanced at it. His eyes instantly widened. "What the hell? How is it?" Wang Qianfeng asked as he snatched the attribute paper. He frowned as soon as he glanced at it. "Wang Chu, what's wrong? There's nothing wrong with that, right?" Wang Lan was aware of his situation, but Wang Qianfeng's gaze made his hair stand on end. Fire attribute, 35%. Lightning attribute, 35%. Yang attribute, 30%. Chapter 205. Hearing Wang Qianfeng's words, Wang Lan's expression relaxed. It was not much different from Wang Lan's own expectations. Ever since the thunder attribute had been added to the attribute panel, Wang Lan felt the same when he used the thunder attribute and the fire attribute. It was completely reasonable to conclude that they were both at 35%. If Wang Qianfeng knew about this, it would not be reasonable at all. If there was a problem with the attribute detector, there was no reason for the Takashi Hoshi Hall and the Heavenly Sword Bureau to have problems at the same time, right? If there was no problem with the attribute detector, then where did his thunder attribute come from? Did he cultivate himself? But even if he cultivated it himself, how did he cultivate the second attribute to the same proportion as the first attribute? Wang Qianfeng stared at Wang Lan for a long time. "When did you cultivate the thunder attribute?" "I don't know. Maybe I'm special." The thunder attribute might be a hidden attribute, and it suddenly appeared. "Show me the thunder snake you learned." Wang Qianfeng had already given up on this monster, so he did not continue to delve into how Wang Lan suddenly had the thunder attribute. If he continued to dwell on it, Wang Qianfeng's answer might be that it was God's arrangement. Arriving at the Takashi Hoshi skill testing field, Wang Lan activated his star power under the detection of a bunch of unknown instruments. In an instant, electric arcs flowed around his body. An electric arc suddenly appeared in his palm and shot out in the direction of his palm. The thunder snake drew a serpentine trajectory in the air and finally hit the vertical target. Boom! 50 energy. It was about the same as the energy value from Wang Lan's PS armor monitor. The activation time is less than 2 seconds. You're already very familiar with it. The serpentine trajectory of the thunder snake shows that your control of the thunder attribute has reached a rather high level. How many thunder snakes can you activate at the same time? 2. I'm only star blazing, and I don't have enough star power. 2 thunder snakes is already the limit, Wang Lan replied sincerely. You still know that you're star blazing. The expressionless Wang Qianfeng roared in his heart. Is cultivating a second attribute something a Star Glory Realm cultivator should be doing? After a long time, Wang Qianfeng let a long sigh. How far have you comprehended the Thunder attribute? I only know that the Thunder attribute requires the integration of the Thunder attribute star power with the cells in the body to achieve the goal of stimulation. From the cellular level, the nerves, muscles, epidermis, and other tissues of the body. Wang Qianfeng's. Ming Shui, are you free right now? Wang Lan has some problems with his cultivation and needs your help. Then, Wang Qianfeng led Wang Lan out of the art block inspection center. On the edge of the third training ground, they happened to see Ming Shui, who was in a black military uniform, walking over with a toothpick in his mouth. Wang Lan, what's the problem with his cultivation? You're going through Old Wang to find me? Can't you just find me directly? It's not like you don't have my number. Wang Lan is studying the Thunder attribute. I can't help in this regard. Thunder attribute. This is a hurdle for the Thunder attribute Takashi Hoshi. If he can't overcome it, he may stop there for the rest of his life. Wait, Thunder attribute? That's a hurdle for the Thunder attribute Takashi Hoshi? Ming Shui looked at Wang Qianfeng in confusion. Don't look at me like that. If you want to ask that freak. He cultivated a second attribute. Old Wang, don't joke like that. Do you think I'll joke with you? Wang Lan, show it. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The moment Wang Qianfeng finished speaking, dense electric arcs flashed around Wang Lan's body. It was just to prove that he could use the Thunder attribute Takashi Hoshi technique. So there was no need to use the Thunder Snake. The electric arcs around his body were enough to prove it. Looking at the electric arcs around Wang Lan's body, it was as if he was wearing an electric arc coat. Ming Shui's expression gradually became exaggerated and perverted. The demon in his heart wantonly urged him to kill this freak. It was too King infuriating and demoralizing. How is it? What do you think? Forget it. I'm used to it. Tell me, what's the problem? Wang Lan intends to use the backlog of death row prisoners in the Bureau to complete the research experiment on the Thunder attribute. It's too dangerous to experiment on himself, Wang Qianfeng said in a low voice. Ming Shui suddenly stared at Wang Lan seriously. Why would you have such an idea? Wang Lan's heart was about to break down. I just want to save up some skill points. How did I accidentally walk on the path of perversion? It's too difficult for me. Don't look at me like that. I saw the execution mission issued by the Bureau yesterday, so I came up with this idea. Anyway, it's just recycling waste. If you think it's harmful, I'd better buy a little rabbit. Is that so? Then there's no problem. Ming Shui actually did not think that there was anything wrong with using those damn people for Star Martial technique research. What he was wary of was that Wang Lan wanted to use people to experiment without giving him the slightest warning. With the premise of executing death row prisoners, it was reasonable for Wang Lan to think of recycling waste. Do you know the principle of the Thunder attribute? Yes. That's good. Come, I'll let you feel the state of the Thunder attribute first. This way, you won't take any detours. Ming Shui pressed one hand on Wang Lan's shoulder as he spoke. An electric current instantly flowed from Ming Shui's palm into Wang Lan's body. It wasn't astral power that flowed into Wang Lan's body, but fine lightning. This was a microelectric current invasion that could only be achieved by extremely high control over the thunder attribute of Takashi Hoshi. Countless tiny electric currents flowed into Wanglan's cells like tiny particles. Every cell seemed to be activated, bursting with powerful activity. This was the state of the thunder attribute. How should he describe the feeling after Wang Lan activated the thunder attribute yesterday? His body was as light as a swallow in the clouds, carefree from a heavy burden. Wang Lan, remember this feeling. The electric current of the thunder attribute can't be too large, or it will damage the cells. It can't be too small, or it won't activate the cells. The most ideal thunder attribute is to let all the cells in the body feel light and happy, and let all the cells in the body be massaged by the electric current. He Mingxue let go of Wang Lan's shoulder as he spoke, and the state of the thunder attribute disappeared instantly. Although the thunder attribute is very powerful, the consumption is also very terrifying. There are two requirements to complete this technique. First, the physical strength. Even if it's a perfect proportion of the thunder attribute stimulation, it's still a strong medicine for the cells. If the physical body isn't strong enough, it will overdraw the lifespan of the cells if it's used frequently. He Mingxue unbuttoned his shirt one by one as he spoke, and then pulled open his chest. He Mingxue's chest was covered with old scars. This was the medal of his life of fighting. Under these scars was a muscular body. Every muscle was distinct. Although they weren't very prominent, they were full of power. So after you finish cultivating the thunder attribute, you have to train a strong physical body. Also, the thunder attribute consumes a lot of star power. Even I can only last for 20 minutes at most in the state of the thunder attribute. The thunder attribute is generally a skill that only Nebula can master. I've seen most Nebula Takashi Hoshi who can use the thunder attribute for no more than 3 minutes. As for you, you're star blazing, which is... Wait, I don't think I've seen star blazing who can master the thunder attribute. He Mingxue took Wang Lan to the detention center of the Heavenly Sword Bureau under He Mingxue's kind care. After changing into a snow-white uniform and putting on the Grim Reaper's mask, Wang Lan became an executioner. The first prisoner was escorted over. Su Mingyi, male, 42 years old, former captain of the East Sea Reclamation Team. During the reclamation period, he led a team to hunt down his compatriots. He plotted to kill 12 reclamation teams and killed 106 people. The evidence is conclusive. The Takashi Hoshi Tribunal has sentenced him to death. Carry out the sentence. This was a half-naked, muscular man with a full beard. He stared at Wang Lan with his ferocious, triangular eyes. What's the big deal about a hunting expedition team? I was just unlucky and accidentally killed a young master with a powerful background. That's all. Otherwise, who would care about this? Who would care? Wang Lan reached out his hand expressionlessly and pressed it on the man's forehead. Crackle. An electric arc exploded in Wang Lan's hand. The violent electric current instantly invaded the man's brain and destroyed it. Wang Lan carried out the sentence out of selfishness. The greatest mercy to the tortured was to let them feel as little pain as possible. Leapfrog execution. Reward: 500 EXP, 20 SP. Ugh. I accidentally used too much force. Wang Lan turned around and smiled at He Mingxue. It's fine. Take your time. The lightning element isn't that easy to control. Come next. 5 nebula scum in a row, each with a different crime. Some hunted their compatriots for resources, some embezzled soul orbs, and some completely fell into the underworld. Anyway, none of them didn't deserve to die. At first, Wang Lan was still a little hesitant. Before the execution, he even said sorry in his heart. But in the end, he decided that he couldn't let them die so easily. Damn, they actually raped and killed a young girl, and even massacred a village? This kind of case was indeed not suitable to be announced in public. If the people knew that it wasn't some exotic beast that massacred a village, but the Takashi Hoshi that they saw as their protector, what kind of backlash would the people cause? For this kind of animal, even if they were electrocuted until they were charred on the outside and tender on the inside, they still had to be kept alive. Tragic screams pierced through the sky. The jailers who were leading the prisoners to the execution ground looked at Wang Lan with more and more strange expressions. This was a ruthless person. At first, it was just a warm-up, but in the end, those death row prisoners all died miserably. Their flesh was flipped over by the electricity, but they were still alive. They fell to the ground, twitching all over. The pleading eyes of the prisoners seemed to pierce their souls. The jailers could clearly feel the pleading eyes of the prisoners. Give me a quick death. It's too painful. Crackle. Electric arcs flowed. The prisoners directly knelt down. They opened their mouths to the sky, wanting to scream, but their mouths were paralyzed by the electric arcs. They couldn't even make a sound. Suddenly, more and more electric arcs gathered in the prisoner's mouth. It was as if he had swallowed a light bulb. Ah! With a miserable scream, a lightning snake shot out from the prisoner's mouth and went straight up into the sky. When Ming-Shue saw this, the can of beer in his hand instantly exploded. He stared at Wang Lan with a dumbfounded expression, as if he had seen a ghost. Didn't you cultivate the lightning element? Are you playing around? You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.